take the gun with me.
Okay, and did he?
Yeah, ultimately I became.
Yeah, you guys are
Yeah.
collegial.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
You know, my wife says he's an associate. I once said he's a friend. She says no, he's an associate.
Well, he still has many challenges at Wells Fargo, but he's got to be happy that the company's market cap is about 119 billion as opposed to 89, which I think it was at its lows, or 90 billion. Really stunning. Although we do see it down, guys. You know how some of our shows do mystery charts. They don't put the.
Yeah, I always get them right, and I always beat them.
I would think you would.
I get them right about 100% of the time.
Yeah, I would assume you would be the one person who always get them.
Yes, Brian Sullivan.
I wish I could do it with this next one, but I think we can. I'm going to have to see you on later this morning. They acquired the rest of Big River Steel, and for $744 million. Letter X.
Letter X.
Have you seen Letter X the last 3 months?
What, you're going to tell me that you're bigger than U.S. Steel yourself?
Jim, there it is, 50.1%. Remember they announced this deal? We actually had CEO David Bird on. At that point, we're going to bring him back to sort of finish that conversation up. Take a look at this stock the last 3 months. We have it? Well, I mean, there's a year. It's up 136%.
Okay. What happened? A lot.
What happened?
Well, it survived.
Did it move into EV?
It survived.
Did it unknow? Did we not see the announcement that they're making a battery? What happened there?
Look, David, look where it went, 140, and it didn't go under. I mean, people felt there was only going to be Nucor that was left.
I know.
And by the way, you know what someone will say?
What?
That this is President Trump's anti-dumping philosophy that made Letter X live. You ask David Byrne that the president saved U.S. Steel. Ask him.
Well, and U.S. steel mills have closed their order books, right, for 2020. At least I'm reading one piece on that here. And the books will reopen for 2021 at an $800 ton base price. That's pretty good, that's my understanding.
Yeah, with Nucor's even better. So go buy Nucor if you like Letter X, okay?
Okay, I got it. Finally, guys, the speculation continues in a lot of different names, beginning at 4 a.m. in the morning. Real volume, Jim. I don't know. I mean, you're up at that time. I
was up at 3:15 today.
I try not to be, but if you take a look at some of the names we've talked about so often, Laser, Palantir. There's Bill Foley's back from yesterday. Came on. Remember Bill Foley, Transamine? Look at that. Look at these moves. And then this also this.
People are making huge amounts of money.
But it's LiDAR.
People are making huge amounts of money.
Real volume. Not just, but millions of shares in some cases.
You want to keep young people in their index fund chains. They're not listening. They're not listening. They're not listening.
They're all up dramatically this morning.
And I've been urging them to
You
get
don't
low.
think that that is a reflection of an additional speculation in this market that perhaps will be met with, let's say, a less than welcome reception at some point down the road?
Well, David, hydrogen fuel cells in the future. They are, and these people take a longer-term view. I urge people to take profits. It doesn't matter. I told them to go buy a cashmere sweater. Just go. Okay? They're not listening.
Right, and that's a cross-section for Palantir, obviously.
There's a
Contract,
contract
44 million. The Laser and Velodyne are about LiDAR technology for autonomous, and then you got these back from yesterday. Carl, back to you.
All right, guys, hanging on to 30K by about 50 points. Let's get to Bob Rosati. Morning, Bob.
Trouble. It's running out of steam here. I don't think it's a big trouble, but there's some questions about how much more oomph we've got here. Even if
Morning, team. Let me post this on all of our social media real quick, and then we can get started. Let me just pause that for a bit because kind of it's distracting me. Yeah, looking at the market today, guys, all of the indices are pretty down. Dow Jones down, S&P's down, Nasdaq's down, Russell 2000's down. It has a lot to do with a lot of the COVID news because a lot of shutdowns are happening. Businesses are not doing good. Like right here, U.S. declined to buy more Pfizer COVID vaccine after, et cetera, this data and stuff. So it's just not really looking good for the market because it doesn't look like we're going to be getting that vaccine anytime soon, for the masses. So it's not something that we could have really seen coming because, during the past 2 months, everyone kept saying the vaccine was coming. Everyone was expecting the vaccine to come sometime soon, like towards the end of the year. But then you guys know how politics works, guys. It never really plays out as you would think. And then you can see US 30 spike around like crazy. Like during London right here, I think it spiked, let's see. it spiked like 2,000 pips, which is not, it's not that much because normally it moves more than that. But again, right here on the open, it spiked right back up another 1,000 pips. So if you guys have been following US 30 for this week, it's been moving pretty crazy. But it's all fine. I'm gonna analyze it soon because it is 6:40, and then I'll try to see where where we can make our entry from, guys. So one second, let me just go ahead and post this on the last social media on our Instagram real quick, and then we can get started, guys. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll check the chat shortly. Let's get this on the Instagram so we can get everyone else on here, and then we can get going. All right. Let's see. Let's stick around. Yeah, guys, I don't know if you guys have been following the market, but the market's been moving really slow this week. That's like the good and bad thing about no news during this week. Because if you guys look at the pull up the news for this week, if you guys look at the news from this week, there's literally no news, like no high impact news. It's pretty clear. So that's why the volatility is pretty down. The good thing about no news is that there's going to be little to no, manipulation. But the problem with no news is that it causes little to no volatility as well. So it's like a double-edged sword, guys. Like market isn't being manipulated in some instances, but there's no volatility. So if there's no volatility, there's no entries for us to take. And I'm sure you guys have seen the chat, like even Wade has mentioned that the market's just super flat and it's just not really worth trading. But, for us, we're still going to look for entries regardless. So I got it on the YouTube, social media, everything. Let me see what else is here. So let me check out the chat now, guys. Hey, morning, Alkin, morning, Ramsey, morning, Shawn K, morning, Delraj, morning, Kushi, morning, City, morning, Chelsea, morning, Merciva, morning, Victor, morning, Gactive, morning, David, morning, Delicia, morning, Greg, morning, Vishnu, morning, John, Godfrey, morning, Wavebun, morning, Lagnami, morning, Indra, morning, everybody. Delraj is asking, Shawn, is there a reason why you didn't take the buy signal on New York Stock Exchange open? Because we don't take that signal, Delraj. We take the signal after. We never take the opening signal. You can see, obviously, there's manipulation right there. Price swings up, and then it's probably going to come right back down. If you look at any market open for the New York Stock Exchange, it's always manipulated because all of the after-hour market orders flood the market. Like right here, it spikes down. If you just look back at every 6:30 time zone or time frame on 10-minute, you'll see that there's always manipulation on the market open, because you guys have to realize that the market isn't open prior to this. So when the market opens at 6:30, you get a flood of orders. So what happens usually, it'll spike up and then it'll come right back down. So that's why you don't take the opening candle. And if you have any understanding of how the stock market works, that's always how it moves when it opens, because all of the aftermarket orders get filled right when the market opens, and then it ends up correcting after that when people push it back to where it's supposed to be. So that's why we didn't take that order. Let's see what else we got here. City's asking, he's close to the daily max loss. I set out today's daily signal so we can reset. Yeah, City, you should set it out, because last thing you want to do is lose your account due to a technicality. So don't, if you're too close to your daily loss, then you should sit it out. Otherwise, you should probably minimize your risk if you have any room for any trades. But if not, then just sit out the day today and let it reset tomorrow so you can pick back up. David said, if you traded during London, you could have been done for the day. So David is correct. If you traded the London session right here, here's midnight. You can see that the first signal right here was a sell. So if you took this sell right here, you would have hit full TP right there. So it's a double-edged sword, guys. Sometimes the London's good, sometimes it's not. I prefer to just trade New York session because it is a New York asset. If I was going to trade London session, I would trade the UK 100 or the German DAX. So, but some people still do trade US 30 during London session, which would be this entry right here, and that would have been a full TP, obviously, like I just showed you guys. So if David took it, then that'd be great. I don't think anyone else took it, because other people took the UK 100. Morning, Hamisi, morning, Fung, morning, Elias. Vishnu said, but could you scalp the spikes if you get the signal, Shawn? I mean, you wouldn't be able to scalp it because it moves so fast. Unless you're already in that trade, you have to be in the buy already at that point, because as soon as the market opened, this is only a 10-minute candle. It ended up shooting up nearly, let's see, it shot up nearly 1,000 pips. So unless you were in a buy already, then you would have missed it completely, because you would have entered after right here, and it's already in some drawdown, as you can see right here. So you could have scalped it if you wanted to, if you were using one of the scalping strategies. So this, let's see. Yeah, the pivot strategy would have worked right here. I guess this could have been an entry up here too as well. But yeah, if you scalped it, you caught it, you have to scalp it for. You have to be at the entry channel here. You would have been in a loss by now, because it would have pulled back. Or not a loss, but you know, it would have been negative. So depending on what scalping strategy you were applying, or even if you're applying the short-term one on the 5-minute, you probably could have caught that actual move. Yeah, because there was like a rejection here. So if you saw this rejection down here, you could have taken this buy and pretty much wrote it up. But there's a lot of things that you could have done, but you know, unless you've done it, there's no real result from it. Because the thing is, you could look at any chart, guys, and then you could say, oh, I could have scalped that and I would have been good. But the thing is, unless you actually execute, then you know, it's just a thought. But yeah, if you did take this one right here, you would have been good. So let me go ahead and let me check this real quick. So we have another question from Alicia. Alicia's asking, so for who want to trade London, do you recommend the first signal after 12? So Alicia, I'm not sure if you're in the London chat, but for Mark's strategy, he uses the same strategy that we use for US 30, except for him, he does take the opening candle. For me personally, I don't take the opening candle for either London or for New York session, because it's the same situation here. You can see that there was a spike down on London open right here, and this caused for an invalid signal on the open. That's why I wouldn't have taken this opening candle, because London opened at midnight. So if this is an invalid signal, but obviously if it was a valid signal, then you probably would have, I mean, you could have made some profit off it if you took it. But me personally, generally you see that spike in the beginning, right? So the market opens, there's a spike up. What happens after the spike? There's a correction. After the correction, we get the signal right here, and this would be the actual signal to take. Get what I'm saying? So it's really up to you how you want to apply it, because some people do take the opening candle. But me personally, from my experience in trading, and I've been trading for over 10 years now, is that the opening candle is always manipulated. Unless you're scalping it like really quickly, like if you're waiting for the market to open, you see the spike up and you just ride that up until the candle close, then that'd be a good, you know, move. However, if you're trying to catch like a bigger move, like something like this down here, then you obviously want to wait for the actual move, the actual momentum swing, and not just a small little burst in price. Because like right here, this might have shot up, but it might drop from here. And then once it drops from here, it can either continue down or it'll either shoot back up, right? So there's just a lot of factors that go into taking the market open candle. I personally don't like to take, you know, unnecessary risk. You guys, if you guys have traded with me for a while, you guys know that I only take trades that I know are almost for sure going to hit. So for me, I like to wait for that full confirmation rather than jump in too early. Some people like to jump in really early, and some people have luck with that. However, most of the time the luck doesn't last too long, and it's only a matter of time until you get burned by taking those moves a little too early. So that's just a quick explanation. But Alicia, if you're not in the London group and you want to trade London, maybe try joining the London chat. You can reach out to Mark. He runs the London chat, and they usually trade UK 100 in that room. And they've had some pretty good success with it, especially with that late night entry. So let me go ahead and just analyze this real quick, guys. If you guys have any other questions or you guys want me to analyze anything specific, feel free to put it in the chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to analyze US 30 real quick and see where we can make some possible entries. So we do see a rejection point right here. I see a rejection point right here. And what I'm doing, guys, is I'm just identifying where the rejection points are. so that I know where we can make an entry. So I've already identified these rejection points right here. You can see how strong, if I take this off, you can see how nice price rejects off these specific zones, right? Price pretty much bounces from these zones. And generally, when there's a rejection off the zone, sorry, wrong indicator. I'll turn on the momentum indicator. Generally, when there's a rejection off the zone, so price comes down, it comes up, rejects off the zone, we get a sell signal, then it'll provide for a nice sell entry right here, right, to full TP. That's basically what we're looking for over here as well. So we're basically looking for a rejection off this point, a sell signal, so that we can write it down. Because if you look back at previous history up until the first time it rejected off this point and it was followed by a sell signal, we had a rejection here, sell signal, in our short position, full TP. Right here, price didn't reject off the zone. It came close, but didn't necessarily reject off the zone. So we would have avoided this. Came down, came back up, rejected off the zone, sell signal. After that sell signal, short position, full TP, right? So that's basically what we're waiting for right now. We're waiting for the sell signal to appear after this rejection, because it did reject off the zone. However, price can continue up further. So it doesn't need to reject off here. What can happen is it can push up further right here, and then it can reject off there. Or it can push up here, and then it can reject off there as well, right? So there's a couple different areas where price can reject from. So the thing is, this is a game of patience, guys. We have to wait and confirm a valid sell signal. We're not going to enter this trade until we get a sell signal. And if you combine this with the daily strategy that we've been using, basically we look first valid signal after the New York Stock Exchange open, which would be right here at 6:30. And once we get that, then we can take this sell entry. And the reason we're looking for a sell is because the previous swing is a swing up, right? For a momentum swing upwards. And price can only swing in opposite direction. So if it's swinging up, the next direction for the swing is going to swing down, because it swings up and it swings down. Kind of similar to right here. You can see we had a buy signal right here. Price went sideways for a bit. It swung up, sell signal, even though it's invalid, it swung down slightly. Buy signal, even though it's invalid, swung up temporarily. Sell signal right here, it swung down. So basically price just pretty much goes back and forth, right? So we do have a most recent buy signal right here. So the next signal is going to be a sell signal. Let's see. Delraj says the London chat exclusive to K² Premium members. Currently it's open to the public, but it's going to be probably closed to only premium members soon. So if you want to join that, just message Mark. I don't know if Mark is in here, but Mark's the one that runs it. Mark and Jazz, and Alkin's in there too. I'm not sure if he has ability to add people, but sorry, I'm getting messages, so I'm just looking at my phone real quick. Yeah, message Mark, because he's the one that runs it. I help him with it, but he's the main person to talk to if you want to get into the London chat. Matt said, good day, great people. Morning, Matt. David over here said, I got rid of my high school username. Dang, David, how many YouTube accounts do you have? Bro, you come in with a new name every day. Let's see. Okay, so let's so we're pretty much going to just wait for that signal to come. It looks like price is pushing up even further, so it's not going to reject off here. It looks like it broke the structure actually, so it's probably going to come up here, possibly reject off this point. If not, possibly reject off this point. And I kind of like this more because the thing is price is reaching a high over here, right? It's going higher and higher. So this gives us some open space right here to take a trade either this way or this way. So it works out both ways. But we'll keep watching it. I have my alert set up right now. So when I do get a sell alert, I'll pull it back up. Otherwise, I'm just going to take a look at the Forex pair. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Kipon said, yeah, it's definitely a very choppy market, guys. So if you guys look at the Forex market as well, you guys can see that the market's super choppy. Like right here, it's just bouncing back and forth. So the market opened right here on the 7th. And since Sunday, the market has only moved like maybe 50 or 60 pips. That's like nothing, guys. Because if you look at the market last week, we moved like 300 pips, 250 pips plus. So this week is just a little slow because there's no news. You guys saw the news over here. There's nothing here. Compared to last week, there was a ton of news. So price was getting pushed up, price was getting pushed down. And that was perfect for us because it created volatility for us to enter the market. However, this week, there's not very much volatility. If you look through every pair, everything is barely moving at all. But I'm going to go ahead and scan through the Forex pairs. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I can answer any questions that you guys have. Otherwise, I'm going to be looking down the watch list for Forex, and I'll also be checking back with US 30 right here to see if we get an entry anytime soon. It's only 7 o'clock, guys, so it's still really early. Usually the entry doesn't come until like maybe 8 or 9. Sometimes it comes earlier, sometimes it comes later, but average time for our entry is usually 8 or 9. So we usually hang around for about an hour. I answer questions, I look at the Forex pairs, and then we come back to US 30 whenever I get that alert. You see, I do have my alerts on right now, so we should be good with that. And that's about it. I don't really have much alerts because we don't have too many trades this week. But if you guys did take the trades on Sunday, we are still net positive, guys. So even though we took that small loss yesterday for, I think, EA, we're still net positive. So for this week, let me see, I've called like 3 trades, I think. So I've called GJ and GN, which both hit full TP. So GJ over here hit full TP for 40 pips. So we were up 40 pips. And then our GN position over here hit full position as well for 100 pips. So we were up 140. We took a small loss on, what was it? Euro odd right here, 50 pips. So we're still in profit plus 90 pips for the week. And it's been a slow week, guys. So that just goes to show that keep your risk management on point, and that's about it. If you keep your risk management on point, you guys should be able to manage, even though these market conditions are so choppy, because we took advantage of the market on Sunday and we locked in some really good profits that day, where it's pretty much anchoring us over to this week. This is our Euro USD position. It's still active. I think it's going to shoot right back up because with all of the COVID news that we're seeing, it's not good news at all, guys, because COVID is getting worse. The vaccine is not going to be coming anytime soon. It looks like, US declined to buy more Pfizer COVID vaccine. Also, there's a lot of shutdowns going on. So if there's a lot of shutdowns going on, the US dollar is just going to get weaker and weaker. Plus, on top of that, if we get a new stimulus, let me open this real quick. If we get a new stimulus, then the US dollar is going to be weak too, because we're going to be printing money to give to people, and we're just going to go more and more into debt. So, everything's pointing not so well for the US. So that's why I'm not too worried about these positions, because if the US dollar continues to be weaker and weaker, it's just going to push up to our full TP. Same with our odd USD right here. We were so close to this TP2 yesterday. I think we're only off by like 1 pip, but then it started to pull down slowly during that day. And then now it's starting to correct back up. So I'm expecting this to reject off this point and possibly hit our TP. I might even make a late entry on this because I did get stopped out at TP1 last week, but it looks like it could be another good entry to re-enter. Here, let me see. Yeah, David said it could very well be in consolidation. It could very well be consolidation day. If you don't know what you're doing, don't trade. I agree, David. And that's why we're being very careful with our entries, because there's a lot that can happen when it's consolidating. The thing is, if you guys look at the charts, normally when price is in consolidation, it doesn't matter whatever you're trading. Let me just show you guys here. I'm gonna show you an example here. So it doesn't really matter, what asset you're trading, but if you're trading and it's consolidating, what generally happens after consolidation is that it ends up breaking out, one direction or the other. So if I go to like, let's see, like GU right here. So you can see that if you just scroll out of the chart, you guys can see that generally, I go in the higher time frame, the 4 hour, whenever price consolidation, it'll consolidate a bit like this. And then after it consolidates, it ends up breaking out, right? So it's consolidating right here. It breaks out upwards. Consolidates right here, breakouts downwards. So the problem is if you don't know what you're doing, you can get caught in these moves right here. Like it's consolidating, breakout, comes back in, breaks right back out. So if you don't know which direction to be trading, or you don't know how to, identify these price movements, you can get caught on the wrong side. So if it consolidates and you're on the wrong side, you're going to get stopped out, right? So that's what David means by, if you don't know what you're doing, you should probably sit out the market, because price could be consolidating for like a cool minute. It'll be consolidating right here for a bit. And then, or not even a bit, this would have consolidated for, let's see, and this is GU's major pair, consolidated for about 13 days until it ended up shooting up and then going back into another consolidation phase and then shooting back up. And thankfully, we knew what we were doing when we were trading this, because we made a lot of profit off, these breakout moves. Because generally what we do is we catch momentum when it's in consolidation, and then we catch that breakout. But that's only because we know what we're doing. Yeah, let me go back and take a look at the chat over here. Morning, Shawn. Clarify. Here's Dan. Hey, morning, Dan. Morning, Shawn. Can you clarify if so if there's a signal like yesterday's euro odd and it hits stop loss like it did, would it still hit TP if you re-entered once it hits stop loss? Yeah. So Dan, for EA yesterday, it was like, let me see what happened here. So we took a sell here. I mean, technically it could come back down. There's no, it doesn't necessarily have to continue pushing up. It can push up to here, and then it can reject back down and hit TP like how we had yesterday. But if we hit stop loss, I don't re-enter the trade. So, our win rate's so high because we only take trades that are almost guaranteed to win. But then what happens after that is, once we hit TP or stop loss, we end up just pulling out of the trade, because you can continue to ride that. You can take off your stop loss, or your target, I mean, and continue riding the trade. So like, for example, here, if you're taking this trade over here, so see, price broke the structure, we had a buy signal. So if you were to take this trade right here, let me just rewind it. If you take this right here, you probably would have rolled to, this zone over here for about 30 pips, right? What you could have done is you probably could have, like, if you wanted to use a more risky strategy, you could have removed your TP and then just pretty much rode it up as it continued up further. So you can see it hit TP there. You could have just removed your TP and just continue to move your stop loss up with it. That's one way to do it if you want to just continue to ride it. However, so you can see it continues up further, right? It just keeps pushing up, and you just keep moving stop loss up as it continues to move up further. However, if it does hit stop loss, like something right here, if your stop loss was too close, in some situations, some people like to put their stop loss, like right below the opening candle. And that's why we put our stop loss kind of far out. We usually put our stop loss at the previous swing down here or below a structure, but some people like to put it like right there because they like to trade for like a 1-to-4, 1-to-3 risk to reward ratio. If it ends up hitting stop loss like that, we don't re-enter the trade. We just pretty much just let it play out. But I mean, there's no reason for it not to continue up. So in this situation, if your stop loss was too tight, you would have gotten stopped out. But if you were to re-enter, obviously you just put another buy stop here. You can see that it obviously goes back, and then it would have hit full TP at some point, right? So you can re-enter, but me personally, I don't recommend re-entering, because if the trade doesn't hit using our strategy, then most of the time it's going to reverse. So that's just, that's just my advice. But, if you have your own experience and your own way of doing it for re-entering, you can apply that. It's just for me, when I enter a trade and I hit a stop loss, I just move on to the next one. I don't mess with that pair anymore, because if it's moving weird, it's probably going to continue moving weird for the rest of that day or that week or so. Just pulling back US 30 again real quick. I just want to keep checking on it to see what's going on with it. Looks like it's attempting to break the structure, but it hasn't been able to close above it. So it might close above it right here, and then maybe we'll see that rejection off here. Or I could keep pushing up and see that rejection off there. There's a lot of different scenarios that can play out for US 30 today. Let's see, Mercibot said, if the Pfizer vaccine is to be approved for Canada, what does that mean for their their currency pairs. It doesn't necessarily mean anything specific because even though a vaccine comes out, Merspot, there's still going to be room for error, because the first wave of vaccine doesn't necessarily mean it's going to cure everyone. And I'm not sure how Canada is, but a lot of people in the US aren't planning on taking the vaccine right away. So we're probably going to be stuck in this madness for like another year because the vaccine is probably not going to come out until next year. People are probably going to hold off for like the first couple of months. And then after that, they're going to take the vaccine. So we're not going to see an immediate, change in the market right away until businesses start to reopen. So until everything starts to go back to normal, restaurants open, clubs open, businesses open, and everyone just goes back to how things were before, then we'll see a drastic change in the market. However, if the vaccine gets approved, then so for one, if the vaccine gets approved, the next step to that is businesses reopen in Canada, right? If the businesses open back in Canada, then we'll probably see these Canadian pairs go up. So this is kind of a bad example, or no, this is a good example actually, because if the Canadian dollar becomes strong again, if their vaccine ends up curing the Canadian people and then the market goes back to normal, businesses reopen, stuff like that, where things can go back to normalization, then you'll probably see this shoot up right here, right? Because the Swiss franc is a safe haven currency. So if the COVID isn't affecting the market as heavily as as it has been the past year, then people are going to move their money from safe haven currencies to their normal currencies like Canadian dollar. So at that point, it'll probably come back up. You'll probably see CAD JPY go up as well. It's already going up right now, actually, because the JPY has been weak with all of the new COVID vaccine news. So it's the same situation. The JPY is also a safe haven currency, just like the CHF. So if the Canadian government releases, their vaccine, businesses reopen, things go back to normal, people start to go back to normal life, then people are going to move their money from safe haven currencies, just like the Swiss franc, the Japanese yen, back to their main currency, and this will continue up. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different factors, Merciful. There's not just one thing that's going to affect it. Just because there's a vaccine that comes out doesn't mean that life's going to go back to normal yet, because there's still going to be a lot of restrictions. Not everyone's going to take the vaccine, and it's just going to be a huge mess still, because obviously, the medical stocks are going to go up and stuff like that, but all of the normal stuff like restaurant stocks or whatnot, or stuff that usually has to do with socialization, then it's not necessarily going to push the market 100%. So, and we'll have to see how that happens, because the thing is, the vaccine could come out and it could do worse than it does good. And if that happens, then the complete opposite happens. So we'll just have to see how everything reacts to that first wave of vaccines that come out. Let's see. Kipon said, I think Japan will try to vaccinate everyone. I don't think they'll force us, but it will be highly recommended for the Olympics. They provide it for free. Oh, nice. Yeah, Kipon, I agree. Even in the US, I think they're going to make it a requirement for you to have the vaccine in order to travel. So you can't fly back and forth unless you have the vaccine. So we'll see how that plays out. I don't know how that'll necessarily affect it. But yeah, for Kipon, since Kipon's in Japan, it's a small country, so they can kind of influence people to take that vaccine, because there's only so many people to influence. Here in the US, people don't listen and don't follow rules here very much as other countries. So like even me personally, guys, I'm not going to take the vaccine even if it comes out right away, because there's going to be so many side effects to it. So, and we'll see how that plays out. I don't know if you guys plan on taking the vaccine. Where's David over here? David, are you an anti-vaxxer? Are you gonna take the vaccine? I wonder what David's gonna do. Let's see. I'm just gonna put down my chair, guys, because I'm tired of standing. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at the market again. So if you guys have any other questions regarding any of the Forex pairs or any pairs in general, I can analyze anything for you, because it is a slow morning, a very slow morning. So until we have US 30 entry, we pretty much got a lot of free time today, guys, because like I mentioned, the market's just crazy slow. David said I have no option. Yeah, they're probably going to make the whole military get vaccinated, right? I'm 100% sure because, if we have this little World War Z type thing going on here with the vaccine, they're going to make you guys take the vaccine. Merskbot said they went from politicizing masks to politicizing a vaccine. Yeah, I mean, that's just how it's going to be, honestly. Like, I don't know about all these conspiracy things that everyone's talking about, but it's going to affect everyone one way or another. Kipon said, I'll wait a bit as well. But yeah, I think that if you want to take international flight, you're going to have to do it. Definitely. I agree too. HL said, when you take a long trade like yesterday, for example, and after that there's a short signal like yesterday, do you take the short trade? HL, no, we don't, because we usually catch the first momentum swing after the market open. And generally the signals after are usually just some noise because they're like pullback signals, right? Let me show you an example of last week's trades, because we did have that happen, but we just ignored them. So generally we ignore them because once we determine the direction of momentum, we did. Because if you look at price, it can only go two ways, right? It can only go up or it can go down. It doesn't bounce around. Well, it'll bounce around and go sideways, but ultimately it's going to have to choose a direction. So here's our trade from Monday. So here's an example of what you were just mentioning right now, right? So right here, we took a long position because after the market opened, the first signal was a buy signal right here, right? So using the strategy, buy entry right here. And if you follow it through, you'll see that we had a opposite signal appear right here, right? Right there, or sorry, let me move it. Okay, so right there. So if you saw this opposite signal, if you guys didn't understand how to apply the strategy, you probably would have taken this trade. And you know why? Because most people will want to trade in the direction of the trend. So if you look at the trend right here, price is obviously trending down, right? So people might wonder, why are you taking a buy position if price is trending down? The reason why we took the buy position is because we identified momentum. Momentum already showed itself right here. And we knew that price was going to continue up from this point straight up here. It's going to break right through the trend line and continue up. But if you were to follow the sell signal right here, you probably would have gone stopped out, because look what happened here. It ends up going straight up to hit our full TP and breaks the trend line right there. So if we get a signal like that, we usually don't take it, because once momentum has been determined for the day, because you can see price usually moves in one or two waves. So the New York session opened right here. The first wave was down, right? The second wave, it rejected off this point and it shot way up here. So what we're doing is we're not trying to get caught in any of these fake outs. If you see a following signal like this right here, this is just a little pullback. It's a little retracement. It's here to trick people, because if people don't know how to, trade exactly, or if they just know the very bare basics and they don't know like the secret behind, US 30 like we do, you would have gotten caught in the sell right here. Because like I mentioned, a basic trader, what does a basic trader do? They draw trend lines. So number one, they draw trend lines. Number two, they try to catch these little rejection points, right? A beginner trader would think that this was a resistance, right? Because they see a test right here, they see a test right here, they see a test right here. They're like, oh, it's a resistance. Obviously, I would take a sell right there. But that's the wrong way of thinking, because if you trade like everyone else, you're going to end up getting burned. So if you took a trade right there, it would have pushed down a little bit. Let's see how many pips. It would have pushed down maybe like 300 pips right here, not very much. And then at that point, they're kind of luring you in. They're luring these traders in, because if you look at this right here, what do you think happens here? It looks like it's going to continue down, right? Wrong. It ends up shooting up right there, and then it shoots up straight to our full TP. So that's why we don't get caught in this noise, because you guys have to understand that this, trading is all psychological. It's usually the market makers and institutions playing games on people, because they know that they can trick people. Also, like if you look at this here, like I just mentioned, all signs lead to a bearish entry, right? The price broke the structure. It was a break and retest. So price broke, retested the structure, sell signal. You know, a normal trader would have taken a sell there, and I wouldn't blame them because it looks like a nice sell. However, if you're trading like everyone else, you're going to get caught in these little traps. So that's why we wouldn't have taken this trade. Same situation right here, guys. So if you're trading something like this right here, I'll just go back and replay this to right here. So we took a sell entry right here. If you were to you know, do the same thing and draw trend lines again, like how, you know, normal people would draw a trend line from, like, say from like right here. If you're looking from here, you know, and obviously a person would take a buy right here, right? Because they see the rejection off this trend line. If they want to draw a support right here, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's a support. So they're gonna think that price is going to, you know, bounce off it right there, right? Because it doesn't look like a clean rejection right there. Price broke structure, retest, comes up, double bottom, buy signal. Someone would have gotten tricked into taking that trade right there. However, we wouldn't have gotten tricked because we already know the direction of momentum, because we had the sell signal on the open of the market. Well, not necessarily the open, but it was like I mentioned here. So price, when market opened, it pulsed down and then it swung upwards, right? And we caught that move. Same situation here. So price swung up on market open, and then the correct direction was revealed right here for a down move, right? So if you took this buy right here, you probably would have gotten stopped out because it would have ended up coming down right there and it would have hit full TP. So that's why we wouldn't take any of the false signals that, or not really false, but these fake out signals that happen after our main direction, because it'll likely trick you. So, you know, it's all psychological, guys. You guys can't think like everyone else, because majority of people will trade in this other direction because it looks so good, right? And you can't blame them because it does look good. But we don't fall for those tricks because we do have, we trade, you know, strictly off momentum. We don't trade off price action like everyone else. Let's see. The Black Jerry said, brother, you said there are many side effects of this vaccine. What are they? That's a, if you Google anything, Black Jerry, you'll see that literally anything could be a side effect. Heart attack, high blood pressure, there's hallucination. There's a lot of things that that can be like you can just look at common side effects. If you look at any drug, like Black Jerry, I don't know if you if you take medication before, but if you look at any of your medication, there's a disclaimer for everything. Literally, because the thing is, they don't know what the side effects are, so they'll give every single side effect. So let me see right here, COVID vaccine side effects. Okay, so right here they have actual people that go over it, right? So there's a ton of side effects right here. Black Jerry, I'm not sure if you, David said erectile dysfunction. So there's people here who took it. They're the human guinea pig. They basically said they had fatigue, they had tiredness, chills, loss of appetite, muscle aches, sweating. There's a ton of side effects for every vaccine. It's not just the COVID vaccine, but you're going to get side effects for like literally everything. And on top of that, the COVID vaccine is they're going to give you like, you know, some dosage of COVID, because that's how your body can create antibodies for it, right? But not everyone has the same reaction to it. Some people will take it and they'll get really sick. Like they can even die at some extent if they can't handle the little part of it, because that's pretty much how they create vaccines, guys. Like if you take the flu shot, they give you like a small little dosage of the flu so that you can create antibodies. I'm not a scientist or anything. I have no medical background, but that's, it's just basically how how it works. So yeah, Black Jerry, there's a lot of side effects that can happen if you take any type of vaccine, not just the COVID vaccine, but any vaccine in general, or even any type of medication. Let me see what else we got here. Yes, John said the airliners are requiring proof of vaccine. Yeah, I agree, John. I did see that on the news. Let's see what else we have here. Merspaw said neurological side effects. I agree to that too. Let's see. Hello. Kushi said hello. Does the currency strength matter when taking Forex trades? Yeah, Kushi, the currency strength does matter because obviously, like, so if we're taking a JPY pair, like we did last week, right? We took a bunch of JPY pairs last week. Let me go to the results real quick. I just want to see what date we took those trades. So looking at sorry, let me see if I can pull up the results from here. Because I know there was like a time where we took like a bunch of JPY pairs. So if you trade the JPY, yeah, so we took a bunch of trades last week actually. So basically, man, these scammers are annoying. I hate when people try to scam in the, or they post all that stuff in the group. Okay, so let me sorry guys, I was going to the results here. So you can see here we took all these JPY pairs. Basically, if the JPY pairs are going one direction, so say the JPY is weak here, right? Because it's going up. So during this time period right here from November 19 till December 1st, right? It's going up. So if the JPY is weak here for odd JPY, we can only correlate that with CAD JPY. We see that it's weak here as well, right? And then we go to EJ, it's weak here. We go to GJ, it's weak right here at that same exact time period. And then again here for NJ, same exact thing. So if that's the case, then it'll give us more confirmation and more confidence in taking that that specific entry. Because if all the JPYs are weak, you can literally just buy all those pairs and you can just profit off all of them. So you can diversify between all of the other assets. So it's really good to use that as an extra confirmation. And just looking at US30 right now, sorry guys, looking at US30 right now, we do have a pending signal here. So we might take this short position right here. But yeah, Kushi, like generally, if you can correlate the pairs and they're all moving the same direction, it gives you that better confirmation that it's going to continue in that direction as well moving forward. So I would definitely take that into consideration when taking a trade for an extra confirmation. It's not necessary, not required, but it definitely does help with your analysis of that specific pair before entering it. Black Jerry said, the mRNA vaccine does not have the code of assessment in it. It's designed differently. I am a scientist. Oh yeah, so if you're a scientist, Black Jerry, then you understand how side effects work. Everything has a side effect. There's no guarantee that there's not going to be no side effect. And even if there wasn't a side effect, they still have to give a disclaimer. So it's impossible for us to know if there's a real side effect or not because we haven't taken it, right? So maybe you should take it, Black Jerry, and let us know. Since I mean, you probably know way more than all of us because we don't have a medical background. So I don't know, maybe you can let us know more in detail how it works, but I'm sure it's going to have side effects, not just because it doesn't have the specimen in it. It'll have side effects for other reasons because, other people have different chemical reactions. I do know a lot of different scientists as well. And we've talked about this before here in the US. I'm not sure what kind of scientist you are, but, I know a lot of cool engineers. I know a lot of doctors, and everyone has a different opinion on it. So it just really depends on how it applies. Oh yeah, no. So Black Jerry said, no, I'm not saying there is none. I was asking you which ones you did notice. Well, I didn't know anything because it was a topic that was raised today about the vaccine and how the vaccine would affect the market. And, a basic generalization is that people aren't going to take it because of the side effects, right? It's just a common generalization that everyone has a common understanding that there's going to be a side effect to a new vaccine that nobody knows about. So until someone's taken it, or unless it's like, massively produced and administered, then we really don't know, because it's such a small sample of people who have taken it. Let's see how many people have taken it. Looks like, yeah, see UC Berkeley. My girlfriend went to UC Berkeley. So she went there. She was a chemical engineer there. So she's experienced stuff like that. It's one of the best schools in the US too, with regard to a lot of these research. Let me see. I was trying to see how many. So there's only 44,000. So Pfizer found 44,000 volunteers to participate. It's not a big sample. It's only 44,000. You'd have to give it to a lot of people to really see what the real side effects are. Patients involved. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. We'll see how it happens, how it plays out. It doesn't really affect me, because regardless as to whether there's a vaccine, no vaccine, we're still going to trade. So we'll see how that plays out. Oh gosh, yeah. So Black Jerry said, I was doing some research for a group before they take it. That's why I asked. Yeah, I have no experience with it. We only mention it because we were talking about how it would affect the market, not like if it has bad side effects or if it has good side effects, it's not gonna really affect us. It's because it's gonna affect the market regardless whether it's good or bad. It's gonna push market up or down. So that's the way that we were analyzing it. We weren't analyzing it from a scientific perspective, because I don't think anyone here really cares about the side effects and is really planning on taking it right away. Aside from David. David's the sole person here that's going to take it for everyone, and then let us know how David's going to let us know how it plays out. Let me see what David said. He said to oh man, David's hilarious. So David right here, he sent me this picture that said erectile dysfunction. I know he's fucking around, but he said, well, this is a bit awkward. COVID-19 may cause long-term erectile dysfunction in men, yet another reason to heed public health advice as coronavirus continues to spread. Dave, there's no way that's real, bro. There's no way that's real. Oh man. So yeah, Dave, you'll let us know if you have erectile dysfunction after taking that vaccine for the Army. Let me see what else we got here, guys. Sorry. Okay, so let me go back and check what else is over here. GTA said, I'll be the first in line for the vaccine. Nice. GTA will let us know what's going on with that as well. Merciful said, COVID vaccine is mRNA, so no bueno, especially since it's made by a huge biotech company. There's been talk about transhumanism. Yeah, you guys are getting way too far into science that I don't even know what you guys are talking about at this point. Let's see what else we got here. All right, so now we have a trading question from Hassan. All right, Hassan, I'm gonna look up E real quick. Hey, morning, Ed. Looks like you're up to a late start, no? So let's pull up E real quick. Hassan wants to take us. Wow, look, EU dropped again, man. I don't know what's going on with the market today, guys, or this week in general, because it pushed up and then it dropped right back down. But we still have this support here. I'm still in this position, guys. So if you guys look, I'm in negative 287, which is fine because we made a ton of profit on Sunday. So I'm still net positive, guys. We're still in positive like 90 pips for Forex. So actually, it's not that bad because the thing is, it's literally just going sideways. If you guys look at your USD, like if I was to take everything off, it's just going sideways. It isn't even really moving. So it's probably going to go sideways for a bit. And then it's probably going to, either come down and reject off this point, or it's probably going to just shoot right back up from here. A lot of this is news related, guys. So a lot of these moves are news related because there's just no news that's happening right now. So this big move will be happening because of the news last week with the US dollar being weak, COVID getting really bad. The numbers going up. It was the holidays as well. So it was just people are getting sick, and that's why this pushed up right here. And then right here, you can see that it pulled back a little bit. We see this rejection off this point, and then we could probably anticipate this to continue further. So right now, we have we just have a sideways market at this time, guys. So there really isn't really much to do about this. That's why I'm just leaving it as is, because if you look at the US dollar, they're all going sideways. This is going sideways. Let's see what else. EU is going sideways like I just saw. GU is going sideways as well. I mean, this is a bigger range. It's bouncing back and forth, but generally it's just going sideways. NU, it's going sideways. So you guys can see that there's like no volatility in the market, guys. The market's like dead right now for Forex because there's no news this week. Even right here, USD CAD going sideways. So I wouldn't worry too much, Hassan, about EU, because all of the USD pairs, all of them are just going sideways right now. They're in consolidation. So I think once there's, you know, some sort of news, like, and I'm sure the COVID news is not going to be good, which is why we could follow the CNBC. If the news just gets worse about COVID, and then they announce more shutdowns, because in California, they've shut down some cities in Northern California. They've shut down cities in Southern California. So as more cities get shut down and countries get go back into lockdown, the US dollar is just going to get weaker. So the thing is, we just have to weather the storm until those lockdowns happen, which are going to happen, obviously, because all these numbers from Thanksgiving are going to come out soon. I want to say the 8th. Thanksgiving was about 2 weeks ago. So all of the COVID from all these people, you know, getting tested before and after Thanksgiving, it's not going to be a good look for the US. So when that happens, stuff goes back into shutdown. We just got to weather the storm sideways until the bad news happens, because the bad news is inevitable, guys. There's not going to be a lower number of COVID. It's going to be higher. So when that happens and stuff starts to shut down again, it's just going to spike it up, because the US dollar is going to be weak. But let me go and check. Let me see COVID US. Or I'll just type in COVID. So yeah, looking at the COVID numbers right here, guys, this is where I'm located in Orange County. California has 1.4 million. United States has 15 million. It looks like in the last 14 days, there's a plus 220 more cases. So it's just going to continue growing, guys. And that's why I still think that the US dollar is going to be weak. So I'm not too worried about this, because overall it's going to continue pushing up, because you can see from all of these other pairs that are paired with US dollar is that they're all weak, right? So I think this is going to consolidate a bit, as it normally is. And then once the new numbers come out, it's just going to spike up, because these numbers right here from 14 days ago, this is before Thanksgiving. So as it continues to grow, it's going to get worse and worse, guys. So like right here, it dropped slightly. It went from, on the 6th, we went from 28,000 to 27,000. And then once they get new cases in from, you know, Thanksgiving, everyone coming back home and stuff, I think it's going to spike even more. So I wouldn't necessarily worry too much about EU right now until, you know, something actually happens, pushing the market in a certain direction. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Ed said, I was awake since 9:30 a.m. been analyzing gold. So let's check out gold real quick. So looking at gold over here. So looking at gold over here for Ed. Yeah, Ed, gold looks like it's just going sideways. It doesn't look like at all. It's the same with just like the rest of the Forex pairs. You see what Ed's doing. Looking back at some entries, drawback, original position was 10,000 pips in profit. Yeah, so basically right here for gold, there's not really much to analyze, guys. I was gonna analyze it, but it's literally just going sideways. You can see that it's not moving at all. It's let me see how many pips is moving from here. It's only moved about I don't know how to calculate gold because I don't really trade it like that, but let me see. It's moved about, actually it's moved like 100 pips. So it's moved decent, but compared to the moves from last week, so right here from the week before, it moved up heavily, right? Went sideways, but even when it went sideways here, it was still moving pretty heavily right here. It still moved about 200 pips. It pushed up right here. And then now for this week, it's only been moving, less than 100 pips. So I wouldn't even trade gold right now. The whole market's just super slow currently. Let's see. See, I'm not even analyze gold. There's nothing to really analyze here. We do have a bullish bias right here. However, there's too many zones here. So even if it breaks this zone, it can still bounce around here before, either breaking above here. So I wouldn't take it until it breaks the structure up here, because then it'll give it a pretty much a nice little push up, and then you can ride that upwards. However, I wouldn't take that because the thing is it can come down from here as well. And then if it comes down to that point, I can take a short position. So it can go both ways at this point, but the volatility is really down. Until I see like some sort of movement up or some sort of movement down, then it would be a nice entry. However, right now it's just going, sideways. Meanwhile, here, let me check over here. Dominic said, I'm not sure about being positive for Forex because the Forex trades have 3 TP. So you not even get 1 IR. You close partially in TP. Am I wrong? Dominic said, it's like risking. No, Dominic, you're completely wrong actually, because the thing is you're supposed to move your stop loss. So if you were to enter this trade right here, here's for example, right? You enter this trade right here, you have 3 TPs just like you mentioned, right? It doesn't become, it starts off as a 1-to-1 risk to reward, right? But once price reaches this point, you move your stop loss and profit. So in this situation, if it pulls back, it stopped out at 1% profit, right? Because if you're risking 3% on here, or 3 to 5% is generally what we recommend, your 1% is going to be between 1 and 2. Your TP1 is going to be between 1 and 2% profit, right? You're not risking anything anymore. So that's what we call risk management. I'm not sure if you're familiar with, managing your risk and eliminating your risk. I think you're confused because I think you think that you're supposed to reach for TP1. Our goal is not to hit TP1 or TP2. Our goal is to eliminate risk so that we guarantee profits. So I'll show you an example here of how everything, if you were to calculate all of the trades here, let's see. I'm not sure which Dominic is this, Dominic, because I know there's a couple of Dominics that we talked to, and all the Dominics seem confused about how you were supposed to use your exit strategy. But looking at, let's see, GBP NZD over here. So our GJ over here hit, let me see, I'm going to go over here and move this to GJ. And I'll just show you guys the entries from this week. But I don't understand how people get confused with the exit strategy, because, so let me see what Keepone said. When TD hit, yes, and this is another confusion that a lot of people get too, because you're not supposed to move your stop loss to break even. You're supposed to move it to TP1 when it reaches TP1. So I'm going to go back to the entry from yesterday. Dominic says, what's the best way to manage your trade based on your track record and experience? So Dominic, are you in the premium? Because if you're in the premium, I've posted it there a lot of times where I tell everyone that I run twin positions. So let's see. If you want to trade, yeah. So if you look in I post this like almost every week. I say I have 2 positions. I have 1 position that I just stop loss. I have 1 position that I run to full TP. So for example, right here, this trade over here took this sell right here, right? So I'm going to show you, for example, the trade that we took yesterday. A lot of people get confused with this. I don't understand how how there's like confusion. I mean, there's not a lot of people, but there's certain people that get confused with the exit strategy, but it's not really that complicated. So this is TP one right there, and then this is 40 right there. So for this, for GJ, this should have hit your full TP on this one because it went straight down. There was no retracement. You know, it came straight down, hit your full TP. So you would have made 40 pips on that, right? So this would have been a 3% gain off this trade. And then if we go to GN over here, this is the one that we took that day too. This one hit full TP as well. So, oh, see, so that makes sense. So Dominic says he's not in premium yet. So the reason why Dominic doesn't understand what's going on is because he gets to trade late. If you guys are not in the premium, you guys get to trade on a 1 to 2 hour delay. So the thing is, when we're entering this trade, we're already in profit by the time you guys get the signal. So that makes a lot of sense now, Dominic, why you're confused, because you're not entering the trade when you're supposed to, because when you're in premium, you get the signal real time. So the thing is, for our GN and GJ, these all hit full TP right here. By the time you entered it, you would have entered when it was already, already in profit. So that's why it's a little different for you. So no, that makes complete sense now. And I could see why you're confused, because you think that, because when I sent that signal out, we were already at TP1. So we were way below that. And yeah, that just clears it up. So Dominic, if you want to have better results, then join the premium. That's like the clear answer there. Thanks for clearing that up, because now I understand why you're confused. The premium gets my trades right away. So right here, you can see that I sent this trade in the premium at 10 p.m., right? At 10 p.m. And then the thing with Dominic is that he got this entry. Wait, so Dominic said, I haven't even traded any free signals, but then how do you come to the conclusion that you're not in profit? I don't know, Dominic. I'm a little confused with your with what you're saying, because you're saying that you're not net positive, but how are you not net positive if you didn't take any of the trades? So obviously you're not net positive because you didn't take any of the winning trades this week. We had 2 winning trades for GJ for 40 pips. We had GN for 100 pips. And then we had 1 loss for, was it 40 pips? So, I mean, it's hard to really explain to you, Dominic, because you're already confused before you even started taking any of the trades. So maybe you should try to take the trades, and then you can come to us and say if you're profitable or not, because you're over here having theories where you're like, oh, I'm not net positive. But if you look at the results, if you just do the math, you're net positive. It doesn't matter if you were taking TP1, TP2, you'd still be net positive. So let me see. Okay, let me go back and read all the questions, because I'm like super confused now, because Dominic, now I understand Dominic's situation. He's not in premium, so he hasn't been taking any of the trades at all. So yeah, he's trying to make theories that he's asking, how does it work? But here, sorry, we got a ton of messages, so let me just read through them. So Dominic said, it's almost guaranteed you get stopped at a break even if you move stop loss. Once TP1, usually it's TP1, usually something like 10 to 12 pips. That's not necessarily the case all the time, Dominic. Sometimes TP1 is 25 pips, sometimes TP1 is 30 pips. So I think, I'm not sure where you learn risk management from or how do you apply it, but the way that it works is basically, we have TP. So we have an entry right here. We have TP1 at 1%. We have TP2 at, around 3%. Full TP is going to be around 5%. When price reaches TP1, you move your stop loss to TP1, right? When price reaches TP2, you move your stop loss to TP2. Then you guarantee 3%. So the thing is, our win rate's super high. So if you keep locking in 1%, 2%, 3%, and you don't take any losses, you're going to be net positive at the end of the week, the end of the month, the end of the year. I feel like the way that you think of it is you think that you're supposed to leave your stop loss up here. That's completely wrong. You're supposed to move your stop loss in profit. It's called risk management, because if price moves in profit and then it pulls back, you guarantee profits, right? Our win rate's pretty high. So if you keep winning trades and you don't take any losses, then you're going to be net positive at the end of the week, end of the month. I'm not sure how you apply risk management. I don't know if you just never adjust your stop loss in profit or anything, but it's been working for us so far. I mean, I don't know what else to show you, Dominic. So if I go over here to our profits over here, if you apply everything that everyone is applying here, I see a lot of profits here, right? This is just December 7. December 7, which was yesterday, even though it was a slow day, everyone had a ton of profit, right? December 6. And these aren't my profits. These are actual people in K2. These are all profits. So for you to say that you would be net positive, net negative, it just makes no sense, because everyone here shows profit. December 4th, December 3rd, I can show you every single day. People are making profit every day. So that's why your question is so confusing, because I don't understand where you're coming from when you say that it would be net negative, because December 3rd, December 2nd, everyone's making profit, bro. December 1st. So maybe try to take the trades, and then if you're negative, then we can talk. But if you're not negative and you haven't taken any of the trades, then I don't know what to tell you, because it's just risk management, bro. Like for here, see, like for example here, Nicole, she took like an early exit and she made like $800. You know, if you're trading a small account, so if you're trading like $100 account, you're not going to make this kind of profit. Just, you know, that's just the logic in it all. Like Tam over here, Tam's taking smaller positions. She's taking like a 0.50, right? She makes $100 off it. If you're taking like a 0 point, like not even a mini lot, if you're taking a micro lot, your profits are going to be much less than this, right? So, yeah. Okay, so yeah, Dominic said, okay, that makes sense. You got to have a very high win rate to make this work. All right, it's cool and clear. Yeah, okay, so yeah, it makes sense. So, you know, try taking the trades. When you take the trades, you'll understand what we mean about eliminating the risk, because we have a very high win rate. You know, just looking at our results over here, I'll check and see what our win rate is for Forex. So for Forex over here, we had, let's see, yeah, so the problem with a lot of other traders is that they trade strategies that have a low win rate. You know, they have close to a 50% win rate. So they're used to taking a bunch of losses, and they want to take, they have that home run trade that brings them back to break even. Then they go back to taking a bunch of losses. For us here, we have a bunch of wins. So the thing is, if we have a bunch of wins and we just keep adding 1%, 2%, 3%, and they just keep adding up, then they add up to, you know, a lot of profit at the end of the week, the month, the year. So right here, we have a total of 439 wins plus 144 losses. So we have a total of 583 trades, right? Total trades. And then we divide 439 by 583. And this gives us a win rate of 75%. So if you're winning 75% of the time, and you're just, even if you're taking 1% increase for, you know, per trade, then you will, you should be in profit at the end of the week, the end of the month, the end of the year. Because looking at this right here, so 439. So say I'm going to be very conservative. So I'm going to be super conservative, and I'll give us like a 2% increase per win. So 439 times 2, that's going to be 878%, right? And then we'll do 144 times 5. So if you did 144 times 5, and this is if you only took TP1. So if you did the math here and you only took TP1 and you subtract 878% minus 720%, you'd still be in profit 158% by the time of this year, at the end of the year. Because I'm being super conservative and trying to be super transparent with you guys. If you only took TP1 and you had 808% growth, and then you took all those losses, 144 losses for a 5% loss, you subtract your growth by your loss, and you're still in net positive 158%. So I'm just trying to break it down for you guys, because a lot of people don't understand the numbers in it, and they don't see that this is a long-term game. Like for trading, this is a long-term gain. You know, at the end of the year, you should be in profit. You shouldn't be focused on making profit on that first day or the first week or that first month. You have to be consistent with your trades over the year. And then at the end of the year, you're going to be in some net positive. And then for our our US 30 trades, it's even higher. So looking at our US 30 trades over here, we have 79 wins plus 18 losses. So it's a total of 97 trades, right? So if you divide 79 by 97, we have a win rate of nearly 82%. So it's a very high win rate for trading US 30. And if we were to do the math on this, we have 79 wins. Our risk is usually about 10% because people are trading smaller accounts. So if you're trading a smaller account, you're going to be 79 times 10. You're going to have a growth of 790%, right? We have 18 losses. So, or here, I'll make this even more transparent. I'll say that we only hit TP1. So 79 times 5. TP1, it's only about growth of about 395% growth, right? We have 18 losses. You multiply that by 10%. So that's the net loss. So if you took every single US 30 trade and then you did the math, you subtract only TP1, which is 395% growth, by the 180% loss, you'd still be in net positive growth of 215%. So this is, I mean, I did the math for you guys, and you know, it's obvious. I could break down the math as much as you guys want, and at the end of the day, end of the month, end of the year, it'll all make sense that you should be the net positive if you take every single trade. So let's see. Merspaw said, even if you have more losses than wins, as long as your wins are more than your losses, you can still be in profit. Of course, the more big wins is better though. Yeah, and the thing with that is you just have to be consistent with your trading. Infinitic, sorry guys, let me check US 30 real quick. Okay, so US 30 is pushing up even further. We're gonna look for that rejection point up here. Damn, it's pushing up like heavy right now, guys. Let me see if there's another zone up top that I can draw just in case we need to look out for that area. All right, so the next zones are like pretty high up. And this would be the all-time high over there. So I'm just marking those up so that I can keep track of this and make sure my alerts are on, so that we don't miss this this trade when it does appear. So let me go ahead and go back to the questions over here. So we have some more here. Infinitic says, so we open one trade for each TP. No, Infinitic, so you're only supposed to take one position. So like right here, I'll show you an example for a US 30 trade right here. So for example, yeah, so for example, over here, I'll just go to like one of these trades that we had. So like, we'll just go with this Monday trade right here. So with the Monday trade over here, you're supposed to take one position. It's recommended to take one position. You can take twin positions if you know what you're doing, but we don't recommend that for any beginners. And obviously, if you don't know what you're doing with one position, it's going to be a lot harder for you to manage multiple positions at once. So we always recommend to just take one. And when price reaches TP1, which would be, you know, somewhere over here, this would be TP1. When we have one position, right? This is one position active. Once price reaches TP1 over here, and we're waiting for price to go up, so right here, okay, so price reaches TP1 over there, right? You move your stop loss to TP1 over there, so that in this situation over here, if price was to pull back, you've guaranteed that much profit. However, you have all the upside because if price continues up, you get full TP. So it's a win-win for you here. If price pulls back right here, you gain 5%. If you hit full TP, you gain 10%, right? So in that situation right here, you let it run. Price pulls back a little bit. It doesn't hit your stop loss and profit. So you're still in the trade. It gets close to it again. It stops you out. So in this situation, if you moved your stop loss and profit, you would have gone stopped out at 5% growth right here. However, if you let it run, like I do, because I have two positions, so this position would have been closed out already. My second position here is still running because I have two positions running at one time. So right there, I would have gained 5%. I still have this trade running over here. I let it run to full TP, and then it hits full TP. So in that situation, I would have gained 15% with these two positions. So that's how I run it, but it's not necessarily how we recommend other people to run it, because not everyone can manage, two positions. Sometimes people close this position out and they'll forget about this position. And if you forget about this position, it can make a huge difference, with regard to if you make a double profit, or if you make 1.5 profit, or if you make 0 profit. So that's how you're supposed to run the positions using the exit strategy. You're supposed to adjust it as price moves up. But just a reminder, guys, that exit strategy is just advised. It's not required. So you don't have to follow that. So Dominic, once you join and if you decide to take the trades, you don't have to let them run you don't have to adjust your stop loss. You can just let them run to full TP. Because if you look at the results over here, so these are the results from last week, right? So from last week, if you were to take every trade to full TP, you would have gained, let's see. So these all hit full TP. Let's see. So this hits full TP, this hit full TP. So 1, 2. So for these TP ones, I'll count them as losses. I want to be completely transparent with you guys, because we don't have to win every trade. The key is to eliminate your risk and do well long term. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wait, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Sorry, I'm not going to count the US 30 trades. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 wins. So 9 times 3. So it's 27% growth for last week for Forex. We have 1 loss because of the TP1. You subtract that by 1. This is if you were to let them run to full TP or full stop loss. So if you weren't to adjust your stop loss and you just let it run, you'd still be in growth 24%. So that's the week. That's last week. And then, I could even go to the week before. So that's last week. And then we have another week over here where we had, this week was good too, actually. So we had, let's see, I'm just gonna count the ones that hit full TP. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's gonna be hard to calculate these because these trades were still active. So we don't know exactly which one actually hit TP, which one had stop loss. We go to a week where the trades actually closed out. A lot of these trades carried over to the next week, and that's why. So it's hard to calculate what the actual. So I'll use this as an example right here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 wins there. 8 times 3. That's a growth of 24%. We have these TP ones, I'm going to count them as a loss. So this is 1 loss, 2 loss, 3 loss. So 3 losses there. So we have 24% growth. 3 times 3. We have 9% loss. So if you subtract that 94 or 24 minus 9, you still have a net growth of 15%. So it doesn't matter if you want to let them run full TP, if you want to adjust the stop loss, regardless, you should still be at profit at the end of the week, the end of the month, the end of the year. So it doesn't matter which exit strategy you apply. It's just up to you if you want to go for the bigger wins or if you want to eliminate your risk. Because the thing with us is that a lot of us trade FTMO, right? So here's the difference. So if you're trading a big account, say if you're trading a $100,000 account, which is like what I'm trading on FTMO, 1% of 100K. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 1% of 100K is $1,000. So if I close it at TP1 every single time and I get 1%, I make $1,000 per trade. So this is a huge difference. This is why we focus on eliminating risk. So if you hit TP1 almost every time, then this is way, it's way better than taking a loss, right? Because I'd rather take 1,000 profit rather than taking, you know, a $3,000, $5,000 loss. But the difference is if you're trading a $100 account and you only take 1%, you're only making $1. So that's why some people get upset when they take 1% or they take TP1 because they're trading a small account. But what do you expect, guys? If you're trading a big account, you're going to make way more money versus if you're taking a small account. So your goal is to keep stacking these small wins so that your account can keep compounding, because that $100 account, if you take 100 wins, you know, that'll grow to well over $1,000. So if you have $1,000 and you only take 1%, you're going to be making $10 per trade, right? So it just keeps increasing as your account continues to grow. So it's all about a consistent long-term growth. It's not necessarily you trying to flip that account in one night, because the thing is, if you keep over risking and over leveraging, you're probably going to blow your account. So, I mean, I'm trying to show you guys like the bigger picture of trading, because I've been trading for 10 years, guys. I've been trading for a long time. So I realized that, you know, it's really a long-term game, because, you know, I've been trading for so long. And then just this year I became a full-time trader because I started to fully realize that if I just stay consistent and keep locking in my profits, then it'll just keep continuing, you know, year after year. And I just keep compounding that account over and over again. So let me see what else we got here. Let me see if there's any other questions here. I just want to make sure I'm not confusing anyone, or you know, I just want to be 100% transparent with you guys, because there's a lot of people in the space that they only show you guys wins, and it does look like, you know, a lot of people say we never show losses. But the thing with our trades, I'll show you guys the actual result here. So if you want to see every single result for every trade that we take, I have all of the trades detailed on the website. So I can actually show you guys where all of the results are shared. So if you sign up to the free account, or if you sign up to the premium, you can see these results either way. So going over here to the course curriculum, pull this up over here. If you go to the course, just scroll down to the bottom and then go to the trade history. So I have the history from 2020 all the way back to 2018, every single trade that I've taken live. So right here on October of last year, you guys can see that everything's broken down. You look at the month, it looks like we have we don't show any losses, right? But in reality, if you go down here to every trade, it shows every single trade I took. Like on Monday, I took 1 trade, Tuesday, 2 trades, Wednesday, 2 trades. I don't take very many trades because I take very high probability trades. I want to take trades that are almost guaranteed to win. So we did have a couple losses right here, but at the end of the month, you can see for week 1, we were still in profit 288 pips. So it just goes to show that, you know, I'm trying to be 100% transparent with you guys so that you guys can see that we do lose sometimes, although not very often. But when we do lose, it still gets balanced out because we have so many wins prior to that. Like on Monday, we had 50 pips, or we had 1 win. Tuesday, you know, 155 pips, 90 pips. And we have 1 loss on Thursday. We're -7. But at the end of the week, it always balances out, because on some days we have hot streaks, we have a bunch of wins. And then we have some days where we have like a break even to, you know, a bigger loss, like a -88 pips, -90 pips. But the following day will be about 180 pips positive. So you guys got to look at it from a long-term game. You're not going to get rich overnight. I mean, you can, but you can also get broke overnight if you don't manage your risk properly. But yeah, going back to US 30 over here, I just keep pulling back to US 30 because I'm waiting to see that rejection off one of these points followed by a sell signal so that we can, you know, take this trade. So I'm just going to delete these because these are irrelevant now. This might be the next one, if not this one up here. But yeah, hopefully that answered your question, Dominic. You know, I wasn't trying to outsmart people, but I was just trying to explain, because for a lot of people don't understand, you know, how to manage risk properly. And you guys have to base your trades off risk, off your percentage. So I think the problem with a lot of people is they try to base their profits off pips. That's why for our results here, we have, I see approximate. because the thing is, this isn't always going to happen. It's not always guaranteed. It's approximate. It's around that area because everyone's trading different account sizes. Not everyone's trading, you know, a full standard lot or a full mini lot or a full micro lot. Some people are trading like somewhere in between. So that's why it's an approximation, because your profits should be based off your percentage growth, not necessarily how many pips you get, because you know, 20 pips can mean the same thing if you're trading 1% both ways. Oh yeah, so yeah, no, Dominic said, Shawn, did not mean to offend you. I found your channel amazing. I mean, who does call signals live? No one. Yeah, no, definitely, Dominic. And I take no offense to you too. It's just, I want you to understand, because a lot of people that come in to K2, they come in from a different group where they teach things totally differently, or they try to teach things like very secretively where people don't understand what's going on. I just want to make sure that you guys understand where I'm coming from with our results and with, you know, with our total win-loss ratio, because a lot of people don't understand how things are calculated. And I'm sure you guys are familiar with like other trading groups where they just show wins, or they just show specific trades that make it look good. But for me, I want to be 100% transparent with you guys, where I show wins and losses together. All right, guys. So looking at US 30 right now, we see this rejection off this point. Yeah, price might reject off this point, and if we get a sell right here, then we can take a short position, right? But currently, we'll have to wait and see how this actually plays out from here. Keep on City, I agree. Thank you, Shawn, for being honest with the signal business. It's rare. Yeah, keep on. I mean, honestly, I don't even like doing signals. It was one of the other members that kind of talked me into doing signals, because I prefer to teach guys. I'd rather have you guys learn the strategy and how to use proper risk so you guys can be consistently profitable long term. Because being a signal service, I mean, being a signal copier can only get you so far, guys. If you guys don't understand how to analyze the market yourself, it's going to be really difficult lasting in this game long term. So that's why I prefer to teach you guys everything, so that you guys can learn on your own and apply the strategies on your own as well. Yeah, David said range day. That's what it seems like for all of these for all the pairs, really. I don't know if you guys have any specific pairs that you guys want me to take a look at, but it looks like the market is really it's really slow for the most part. Oh yeah, Merciful said, can we take a look at GN? So I'm gonna take a look at GN right now. Sorry, Merciful, I totally missed your question earlier. Braden said, Shawn, I have the next 2 days off of work. I'm ready to get it. Let's get it. Yeah, no, definitely. I think the next couple of days should pick up a bit, because I think there's some news tomorrow. Let's see. Yeah, there's news tomorrow at 7 a.m. So this is probably going to push price in a certain direction. And then from there, we can start riding that wave as well. But yeah, so we're US 30 right here. Same situation, guys. We're just waiting for the rejection off this point. Maybe we'll get a sell signal, and then we can take that entry. And just a clarification, guys, we're still applying the same strategy. So 630 was right here. Now we're just waiting for the first valid signal so that we can take the momentum swing in that direction. So how I mentioned earlier, guys, price generally moves in waves. So right here, you can see that this is the first wave from the New York session. And then generally what happens is there's one or two waves. It usually pushes up and then continues up. But most of the time what happens is it pushes up and then it comes crashing down right here. So this is what we're waiting for right here. Let me show you guys another example of how that works. So these were the entries we took last week. They were all wins right here. And like I mentioned, price generally moves in waves. So right here on this Thursday, if I rewind this, I'll go to this, this signal right here. So looking at this right here, this is when the New York Stock Exchange opened. You see the first wave where it pushed up, right? And then this is what I mean about the second wave right here. So this is where we took this entry, and it's exactly like what we're waiting for right here, guys, right? So you see price moves up and then we catch that wave down. That's what happened here. Price moved up. We caught the wave down when we got that sell signal. And then you can see this push all the way down. how it did right here, right? And that's what I mean about price moving in waves for the most part. Or to be more exact, I guess price pushed up to here, and then this is where the wave began from this point. So that's kind of what we're looking for right here for US 30. Even over here, let me see if there's another move in price. So like same situation right here on that Monday, we have this first wave right here. So we have this first wave where it pushes down, and then the second wave where it pushes upwards. So we caught that momentum wave upwards from there. And then it hits our full TP. So I'm just trying to give you guys, you know, a visualization as to what we're looking for right now on US 30. So we had this first wave upwards. I'm just waiting for this rejection off one of these points and to catch this wave downwards from here. But let me go back to GN. Let me answer this question for Mersabar real quick, because I know he asked about this earlier. So looking at GN over here, we still have a bearish bias, Mersabar, for this. And I'd be waiting for this to break the structure. So price is just pretty much going sideways right now. It's just ranging. But once this breaks structure down here and closes, because you can see it's been testing it quite a few times. It tried to break it yesterday. That's what we were trying to catch, like on Monday and yesterday. I mean, yesterday was Monday, Sunday and yesterday. But it wasn't able to break and close past the structure. So I think once it breaks and past the structure right here, we can take a short position right there and pretty much ride this down, because the next zone isn't for another, it's a lot. So this whole zoned area right here is about 260 pips. So right here, Mersabar, I'm waiting for price to just break this structure right here. Or this is another thing that I could be looking for right here. So if price ends up giving a buy signal, because right now we have a bearish bias because our last signal was a sell signal, right? If we get a buy signal like right here, so price pulls down, closes within here, closes right back out, and then followed by a buy signal like this right here. So price comes down, rejection, buy signal, then we can ride this for a long position upwards right here for about 127 pips. So these are the two different scenarios that can play out. Obviously, we don't have a buy signal yet, so our bias is for a sell. We're going to want to take a short position right here. However, if price rejects off here, like we just mentioned, and we get a buy signal, then it would be a buy. But until we get that buy signal, we're still going to be looking for a sell until that happens. So that's pretty much what I see happening right there, Mersabar. I don't know if you're in this trade. Are you in a sell or buy right now? Ron Mexico will be entering the room soon. David, you going back to work? All right, we got this right here. So looking at your USD, I mean US 30, looks like price is actually going to push even higher. All right, David, I'll see you in a bit. Looks like you're going back to work. Nice. Yeah, Mersabar said he's not either a buy or a sell. He's just looking at it. He was thinking for a sell. Yeah, I agree. So I'm also looking for the sell as well, because we've seen it tested how many times right here. I'm now just waiting for it to, you know, break below and provide for a sell entry at this point. So it should be good. Let me check over here, your USD. So are your USD still going sideways right here? I'm still in the negative. So this might look like a big loss to you guys for, you know, people trading smaller accounts, but this is my my risky account. So I actually took a big lot size. Well, not a big lot size, but, you know, bigger than usual, just to play, like, to entertain this position, because I do have a very good idea that it's going to shoot up at some point. It might not shoot up right now, might not shoot up tomorrow, but it'll definitely shoot up eventually with all of the bad COVID news that has been coming out lately. Peter said, I hope in January the market goes back to normal. Yeah, I agree. Well, I hope the market goes back to how it was last week. Last week was crazy, guys. Like, you know, when we looked at our results from last week, I was even shocked myself that we did so well, because I just kept calling trades and I didn't realize that, you know, we just kept hitting TP after TP. Like I thought we had some losses last week, but it looks like, I mean, we didn't after I did the totals. And even if we were to take off these other ones right here, like these late full TPs, we still had a pretty good week overall. Sorry, let me check this real quick. Just make sure that, sorry, because I'm just checking this to see. Sorry, guys, I'm getting a ton of questions in the, you guys can see my Telegram right here blowing up right now. Let me just see if I could send people this stuff real quick. Let's see, hey guys. Find your unique links. You know, it's a bunch of people asking for the links. But if people want to grab the, so if you guys are in the premium and you guys don't have your links to the premium signals channel, you guys can go on the website. Just log into k2trades.com. I'm not sure who's, if you guys are in the live right now, but if you guys are here, just log into the K2 Trades website, and then right here, it'll say K2 Trades Telegram group. So if you click on here, you'll have all of your unique links to join the, all the premium groups. Let me see if there's anything else that we can look at here. So yeah, US 30 just looks super messy, guys. So we've already broke this structure, so I'm not even gonna bother really looking at it. Now we're just waiting for price to reach this point and drop from there. But it looks like the market is just, it's crazy how far it's pushing up. I don't know what's pushing up US 30 right now. Let me go to CNBC, see if there's any news, because there's no news today. There's no scheduled news. So biggest owner of Japanese stocks with 800, that's a lot. 434, economic pessimism. Yeah, it's weird. So right here, it says the Dow Jones taking out 300,000, 30,000. So it looks like there's a bunch of random, wow. Yeah, so Dow Jones taking out 30,000. Dow Jones record fails to boost economic optimism. So I'm not sure what's really pushing the US 30 up, but everything is coming back. It looks like the Dow Jones is up, S&P is up, NASDAQ is still down. The Russell 2000 is down, or it's up. Apple's going to release some AirPod Max over-ear headphones. I'm not going to get those. Let's see what else we got here. So US 30 looks like it might be losing its steam pretty soon. But looking at the rejections from this point in the past as well, they've been pretty good as well. So like right here, we had a rejection off this point with a sell signal, and then it ended up dropping from that point. So we're pretty much just waiting for the steam to die off, because the thing is, it can't keep pushing up forever. It's gonna have to drop at some point. Dang, yeah. So Ed said Indonesia just got 1.2 million vaccines. That's crazy. So everyone's getting vaccines except the US, huh? Peter said, looks like US 30 setting up for a big drop. I agree, Peter. So that's what I'm waiting for right here. I'm just waiting for that rejection off that point and then a sell signal to confirm the move. And then we can pretty much ride that down. Merceboss said on that US 30, just crazy how many times it's tested that lower zone before shooting back up like this. Dilraj said Oxford vaccine deemed safe could be why. Yeah, that could be it too. So if that's the case, the GU should be going up, right? Let me check. Yeah, so GU started pushing up a little bit. I think that's when the news for the UK about their vaccine came out. So a lot of the GBP pairs might be, yeah, they're starting to push up. So it makes me want to just possibly buy a GBP pair and just hang on to it. Maybe GJ right here. Buy GJ and just hold it as it shoots up. Because it's got a way to go. But who knows, that's going to be like a speculative trade where you can take it and then you won't even really know if this will play out. So let me see real quick. Sorry guys, man, I'm answering some questions in the group real quick. So I'm just gonna get these links real quick. So some people are asking for some of the links, so I'm just going to be helping them out with this real quick. But yeah, guys, if you guys have any other questions, just put them in the chat, and then I can take a look. Otherwise, right now it seems like the market's just whack. to put it simple, you know, the market's just really there's not really much to really look at right now because there's not much movement for the Forex pairs. The only exciting thing to really look at right now is US 30, but we're like just patiently waiting for it to push up here so we can get that rejection and the sell signal over there. All right, cool. So let's see, go back to the chat real quick. Yeah, exactly. So HL just mentioned the US indices are going up because stimulus are on the way. Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of what happened before too. When the stimulus came out the first time, the US 30 just spiked up while the US dollar came crashing down. So, or it didn't come crashing down, but it went in that same direction because the US dollar was weak. So that's kind of, that's the conflicting news, guys. So the conflicting news is that there's vaccine news coming out, but then there's conflicting news that there's the stimulus package, you know, discussions going on. So they keep balancing, they keep spiking price up, then they spike price down, and then they just keep going back and forth. Oh yeah, David, just thanks for reminding me, David. So hey guys, if you guys haven't, you know, liked this this live stream, could you guys please like it? That way, other people who are looking for, you know, another trading group to learn with, they can find our group. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you guys aren't subscribed, if you guys want to sit in on my mentoring sessions, I hold mentoring sessions throughout the week, just randomly, whenever people schedule, and I go live every time. But the thing with the mentoring sessions is that I don't send out the link to you guys. So if you guys are subscribed and you guys like the video, you guys will get a notification in your email, and it'll say something like, "Hey, Shawn is now live during his mentoring session. If you guys want to join, you guys could just click this link, and then you guys can open up the mentoring session, and then you guys can see how I teach people one-on-one, and that'll give you guys, you know, an understanding as to how the K2 strategies are taught. But I also go over basic questions in there too. Like if you go to our YouTube page over here, you guys can see that I had a bunch of mentoring sessions this week. So if you go to our right here, past live streams, you'll see that I had a mentoring session yesterday. I had another one yesterday. So I had 2 mentoring sessions yesterday. I had 2 mentoring sessions on Sunday or Monday. And you guys can see that I go live almost like 1 to 5 times a day. So you guys will get the link when I go live for this live trading room. But if you guys want to sit in on the one-on-one mentoring sessions, you guys will have access to that completely free. Because like I mentioned, guys, I'm here to help you guys. I'm not like even for this webinar, I'm not charging you guys to sit in this webinar. I'm doing this completely free. And I'm sharing my US 30 trades with you guys every morning, completely free if you guys are willing to sit in on the webinar. So yeah, if you guys haven't already, please like the video just to help out the YouTube algorithm, because there's other people that are just like you who want to learn how to trade, but they haven't found a group or community where they can really learn from. There's a lot of these signal groups where they don't really teach you anything. They just give you signals, but you don't know what's going on because you guys don't see the actual trades being called live. You just see the signals come up, and most of the time those signals are being stolen. So I'm not sure if you guys saw what I shared the other day. So it's funny because one of our members, they messaged me and they're like, hey, is this your account too? And I clicked on it, and someone from this like scammy group pretty much forwarded the K2 signal. They didn't even copy the signal. They just forwarded it. And it says K2 Premium Signals channel. And then they just sent my trade over there. And I was like, it's funny because a lot of these people come into our group and they try to steal my signals and just share them as if it was theirs. But when someone asks them to actually analyze it and show, how did you come up with that trade? Most of these people can't come up with, they can't come up with the analysis because they don't know how I came up with the trade. But if you guys are here, I show you guys exactly how I find that trade. If I ever call a signal, just ask me to show you how I broke that trade down, and I'll show you exactly how I did that. Because the thing is, this strategy that I applied, or that I apply every day, I created this strategy. I created these indicators. I created the strategy. I created the whole thought process behind everything. So I can show you guys from scratch exactly what I do so that you guys can trade exactly how I do as well. Because I'm here to share the knowledge, guys. I'm not here to nickel and dime you guys. I'm not here to ask you to pay a premium subscription to learn how to trade with me, right? Obviously, if you guys want access to my indicators and my strategies, obviously there'll be a premium for that. But if you guys just want to learn, you guys can learn with me here free of charge, because I'm live every single day calling live trades with you guys. CT said you want me to find them. Oh man, I already I found them in the group and I already banned them from the group, so it's all right, CT. But it's a never-ending cycle. I've been doing this for a while now, and trading is a revolving door, guys. If you guys are consistent with your trading and you follow the proper structure and the way to trade, you guys can last in this trading game long term. But a lot of people, they treat this as a get rich quick scheme, and they end up blowing their accounts. So as long as you guys stay consistent and use proper risk management, you guys should be perfectly fine, whether it's copying my trades or whether it's applying the strategies yourself. There's a lot of opportunity in trading as long as you guys stay consistent and do things properly. Let's see. Denver said, do you use the quarter point theory for US 30? So Denver, for US 30, I like look at it sometimes. I don't like live by it like how a lot of people do, like David over here. David loves the quarter point theory. So sometimes what I do is I'll mark it up on my chart. So I'll like put the quarter points on my chart just to see where they are, but I don't personally follow it. I just have it there just in case I want to take a look at it. So if you guys aren't familiar with the quarter point theory, I mean, it does work sometimes, but for me, it just doesn't coincide with my specific strategy, but it does work sometimes, like I mentioned. So the way that this quarter point theory is applied, basically. All right, so that's it for those. So basically, the way that it works is whenever price breaks like these specific quarter points, generally price will continue in that direction. So like right here, you can see price was below. This was the US market right here. Price broke above it. And then from that point, it pushes to the next quarter point. So like for this right here as well, price broke this quarter point. So what might happen is it'll come and push to the next quarter point. But it doesn't necessarily always work out that way. It's a good way to apply the strategy. It's something that I've gone over with David, and it is interesting, but it just doesn't match up with, you know, what we're trying to apply here. So that's why I don't necessarily follow it, but it does work sometimes. So if it's something that you guys want to apply, you know, it works very well. But another way to do it, like I was telling David, one way to apply it is if you were to watch price break the quarter point, but tie in the K2 momentum indicator as well. Because you can see right here, we had this momentum breakout downwards, right? With the sell signal. If you were to take that and you tied it with the quarter points, full TP, right? Really nice. Same situation right here. Price broke the quarter point either here or either over here. And this probably would have hit a full TP as well. So it's there's a lot of ways to apply it. So one thing too, guys, you guys don't have to apply the K2 strategies. You know, a lot of people here use the K2 indicators on their own strategies. And the thing with me is I can help you guys develop your strategies because I developed all these strategies on my own, and I understand how to, you know, put pieces together to create a strategy. But, you know, obviously the K2 indicators are going to make a huge difference in improving any type of strategy that you're applying, because it covers pretty much all corners of trading in a sense. Let's see what else we got over here. I'm gonna keep going down the questions over here. But yeah, Denver, you know, going back to your question, I personally don't use it, but if you do use it, it does work well with K2 as well. So like when price breaks with you know, during a certain session with the momentum indicator, you can pretty much ride that momentum to that next quarter point. But looking at this right here, guys, just going back to our initial analysis, it looks like price is going to reject off this structure that we just drew earlier. So this structure has been drawn since earlier today. I mentioned that if price rejects off here and we get a sell signal, then we can pretty much ride this tumble all the way down. It's probably going to tumble pretty heavy. All right, let's see this real quick. Ed said TP1 for US 30 hit from yesterday. So yeah, if you had no stop loss and you just let it run, oh yeah, you're right, Ed, because we had a buy yesterday. So if you didn't put a stop loss on US 30 from yesterday, it would have hit TP1. Edward just said. Let me look over here real quick again. Velocity said, "Hey, I was the one that asked about account management. LOLs. Don't worry, guys, we'll get him." That's funny, Velocity. Let me continue over here and see what else we got. Flynn said, "Shawn, could you turn on the pivots? I want to see where good scalping strategies could have been had." So Flynn, do you want me to take a look at US 30 for the scalping strategy? So let me pull up over here. I'll just, you know, I'll open up a brand new chart so I don't have to delete anything. So we'll do this right here. I'll pull up US 30 for Flynn. And then we'll just turn on the K2 pivots right here. Let me just hide this, fix this right here. All right, Flynn, so looking at the K2 pivots over here on 10-minute, looks like there could have been a pretty good amount of entries right here. So I don't know if this would have been an entry. This might have been. So if you took this right here, that would have been a, you know, a nice scalp entry right there. Same situation right here. Price came up, sell signal. You could have taken the sell right there. That would have been a full TP. Right here, it looks like this might have hit stop loss. Let me see. Yeah, so that would have hit stop loss. But there's a couple good entries here. So like this one right here, it probably would have hit TP at that point, because you would have put your TP at right here for about 40 pips. And you're scalping, so you're not really going for these crazy big moves. You're literally just trying to catch these little scalps, right? So like right there, that'd be it. This is kind of too high. So your stop loss would have been right there. So it looks like there would have been some pretty decent entries throughout here. So yeah, Flynn, just looking at US 30 from yesterday, from the 7th, it looks like there would have been one win here for about 40 pips or 400 pips. This would be a loss for about 400 pips. So this would have canceled each other out. So one win, one loss, another win right here for about 600. Or probably move that up a little higher. Because what you're doing here is you're trying to move your stop loss to the previous swing. So you'd probably be net positive if you're applying the scalping strategy right here with the K2 pivots. These were all entries from yesterday. This would have been a win for 400 pips. This would have been a loss for 400 pips. This would be a win for 1,000 pips. And this would be a win for another 1,000 pips right here as well. So these are the entries for yesterday, Flynn. And then if you wanted to look at the other pivot entries over here for the previous day, there was a lot more over here as well. So price broke the structure right here. This would be a win for 800 pips, looks like. Yeah, 800 pips right there. Another long position right here. Possible win if your stop loss was wide enough and you use this swing down here for another 800 pips. We would have avoided this. It's an invalid signal. We move on to this one over here. We take the buy on here. Sorry guys, I'm just pulling back to see how it's looking. So this would be another win right there. So if you applied the scalping strategy all last week, it looks like they all would have been some straight winners. You would have avoided this because it's an invalid signal. No entry, no entry. This might have been an entry right here, depending on how you analyzed it. So if you took all of the scalping entries last week, they would have been all wins. So 800 pips, 800 pips, 800 pips, 600 pips, 600 pips right here. And then another win right here for 400 pips, one loss for 400 pips, another win and another win. So overall, it would have been a ton of wins if you scalped this, Flynn, using the pivot strategy. And if you guys aren't familiar with the pivot strategy, if you go on the website, Flynn's talking about this strategy right here. So this is the beginning. You pull down right here. There's the intraday strategy, there's a momentum pullback strategy, and then the K2 scalping strategies right here. So for the scalping strategy, this is the strategy that Flynn's talking about. He's talking about the K2 pivot scalping strategy. And you can pretty much apply all of these right here. This K2SR zone strategy is the main one that we use for all Forex entries. And then the daily US 30 strategy is what we're applying right now for US 30. So let's go back to US 30 right now. Oh, nice. So we did get that rejection off there, guys. Now all we're waiting for is the sell signal. So hopefully this closes soon, because we've been waiting for this trade for some time now. Let me check this out again. So let me see if there's any other questions here. Let's see. David said, sorry, there's some CNBC news, some COVID news that just came out. David said, wait a minute, I'm not allowed to create my own group and send all my trades to my friends in Colombia. Peter said, only if they're paying in powder. He said, only if they send it back in kilos. HL said another 35 points and Dow will pull back a bit, then it will go up again. Yeah, HL. So that's what I'm waiting for right here. You know, I'm waiting for it to either pull back and give a sell signal or break above and continue on to the next structure up here. So if we don't get a signal by 10, guys, we're probably going to hold off on entering US 30 because, as I mentioned, the market's not moving smoothly today. It's moving smoothly up, but we don't know how long this is going to last for, because then it's going to reach a high right here. And then once it reaches this high, it's going to have some issues continuing up in that direction. So we'll see how this plays out. I'm hoping we get a sell here, and then we can pretty much ride this down from this point. But looking at, let me see the news real quick. Turns positive as Pfizer begins UK rollout. So yeah, Dilraj, if you're still in here, this is just what you mentioned earlier, right? You were talking about the UK vaccine. So it says Dow recovers from earlier decline, turns positive as Pfizer begins UK vaccine rollout. But we'll see how that plays out. So I don't know if that's see, the problem with the news is that they announce stuff way too late. They say this and price is already way up here. So this is how people get suckered into these news reports, because right here, if they see this news right here, you know what people are going to do? They're going to buy, or they're going to try to buy. So they're going to try to buy right here because they think price is going to continue up, right? But this is the trick. While people are buying, they're going to push price up a little bit, and then they're just going to spike it down super hard. Or even right here. So people are starting to buy right here. And you know, all these retail traders, they're putting in small orders, guys. They're putting in like a couple $100, maybe a couple $1,000. But that's when the big banks and institutions come in and they start to identify that a lot of retail traders are entering the market and they're buying based on this news, right? So what happens is they just let price go sideways for a bit. And then when you least expect it, what usually happens, it spikes down super hard and it stops everyone out. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to trade with the banks. We're not trying to trade with everyone else. We're trying to trade with the opposite direction. So we'll wait and see how this plays out. Because like I mentioned before, guys, trading is a total psychological game. You have to, it's like playing chess. You have to see what the next person is going to do. And the next person is going to be the institutions and the banks, because as CNBC hypes this up, it's, you know, the banks are going to do the opposite, because they hype this up. Everyone's like, okay, cool. The Dow is going up, so it's recovering, right? So they're going to buy the dip. And then what happens is they end up spiking price. So this is kind of what I see happening here, guys. Price shot up. I'm going to see it go down slightly, maybe to here. And then people are going to buy off that news. They're going to see good news right here for the Dow. They see the Dow's recovering. What I see happening from there is price is going to push up a little bit, retest it, maybe come down a little bit, test it like maybe a third time. And then when you least expect it, you're going to see it drop like 1,000 pips. And that always happens. Like you guys have seen it from all of our other trades. Let me see if there's an example here. So this is an example on Friday, because Friday was NFP. The data was bad, right? So the data was bad. We took the buy here. They kind of pushed price sideways a bit. Then they dropped it a bit so that they can lure in people to enter those sells. As soon as they had enough sells in there, the banks and institutions spiked price way up. So you guys kind of have to analyze it from a lot of different perspectives, because it's like playing chess. You definitely have to be like 2 steps ahead of the game, or ahead of the other trader, so that you can make sure that you're on the proper side of the trade. So that's basically what I see happening right here. Let's see if it breaks the structure. If it breaks the structure, it might hype it up a little more and push it up a little further before it ends up, you know, spiking down and whatnot. But that's why this is why we're patient with the trades, and we have to wait for an extra confirmation before we just hop in. Because the thing is, if you entered a sell right here because you saw that rejection, you could get screwed, because they can probably spike price up just a little bit, like up to there. They'll spike it up real quick. You'll see a huge wick right here, and it comes crashing down. And it happens all the time. I'm sure you guys have seen it before, especially if you guys have traded live with me before. We always see all these fake outs. That's why when we enter these trades, we take the trade and then we leave it alone and let it play out. But okay, so let me keep going down here real quick. Victor said, Shawn, do you think it's wise to take both US 30 and UK 100 on one FTMO account, or would it be best to use an account for each one? See, David said, Victor, you can if you understand the risk. For example, know how much you're willing to lose compared to your loss limit. Victor said, I hear you. I'm just asking, for instance, like when they both hit full TP, when they both hit full stop loss one day, you're risking, say, 2% per trade, or is it best to risk 2.5% on one trade? So me personally, Victor, I only trade the New York session, because I don't trade the London session. But I've seen from you guys last week, because, you know, looking at your guys' results from last week in the London room, you guys had like a ton of profits. I mean, obviously you guys had a bad day yesterday because the market is just moving, you know, super choppy. But prior to that, you guys had like a hot streak. So I can't really recommend trading UK 100 because I don't trade it. But if you understand the risk, just make sure that your lot size is pretty balanced. So like you mentioned right there, if you should take 2% per trade, you can do that if you want to be careful. But if you want to use two separate accounts like some other people, you can do that as well. So it's really up to you. It's a personal preference whether you want to use two different accounts or if you want to just split the risk on one account. But me personally, I would like to just keep everything in-house on one account because it just makes things a whole lot easier, unless you're using one specifically for London and one specifically for US, because then that would work out as well. You can risk, 2.5 on this account, 2.5 on this account versus just 2 and 2 and getting close to your daily loss. Let's see. Yeah, David said in that case, you just be done for the day and no longer trade, come back the next day and kill it. Yeah, and David said K2 rarely loses back-to-back days. So yeah, guys, if you guys look at our results, we have only had like a max two trades that were back-to-back losses, and it's only happened maybe like once or twice. And the first time that happened was my mistake because I was trading during the Fed when they were speaking. So that was my bad. So it rarely ever happens like that. Flynn said, I'm trying to find a good strategy that I can follow consistently that meets my scalping trading style. I think the US 30 pivot strategy could be the one. I agree, Flynn, because, looking at this right here, it becomes a numbers game, bro. So if you count this up right here, say you had, say you're trading like a 0.01, the smallest lot size that you can possibly trade. So 800 pips right here, that would be 800 pips plus another 800 pips plus another 800 pips plus 630 pips plus 610 pips plus 400 pips minus 470 pips. So it becomes a game of volume, bro, because, when you're scalping, I'm sure you understand that, it really depends on how many trades you take and how many wins you lock in. So if you took all those trades right there, you would have locked in nearly 4,000 pips. So if you're trading even the smallest lot size, the 0.01, you still would have locked in $397. So that's pretty good for 2 days on the smallest lot size. If you were to take it on a little bigger, like a mini lot, you'd make 3,970 scalping it. So I think this would definitely work with your type of trading style, because I like scalping on this as well. So like right here we had let's see, we had a sell right here. So you could have taken this trade right here. Stop loss would be somewhere over here for about 45. And one key too is to, keep your TP and stop loss tight. Because if you're scalping, you're just trying to get in and out of these trades pretty quickly. So like right here, another 400 pips. So you would have had a ton of wins if you just scalped all last week. And if you want to talk about scalping, I don't know if Sisuk is in here, but Sisuk loves to scalp. So if you see Sisuk's results over here, let me see if I could find his results. Yeah, if you look at Sisuk right here, he scalps. So he makes like a couple $100. He has like one loss, but then it balances out. So if you ever look at Sisuk's results, I usually post him in here as well. He has a small scalp right here, made $50. But he's really good at locking in these profits. He went from, he'll go from a $500 day to a $50 day to $1,000 day to etc. You can see Sisuk here, he went from 1,300 to 550 to 50, and he loves to scalp using that same strategy. So you might want to connect with him, Flynn. I don't know if Sisuk is in here, but he loves to scalp K2. So that could be something that you guys can connect with and, maybe work on. But even Flynn, so just a reminder, guys, if you guys are here and you guys have access to the K2 strategies, Just a reminder that you guys have access to me as well. You have access to my one-on-one mentorship. So like how I'm going over the strategy with Flynn here, I can go over this with you guys one-on-one to make sure that you fully understand the strategy so that you can apply it on your own. Because these strategies are very easy. It's like a checklist strategy. Like for the pivot strategy that Flynn is talking about, it's extremely simple. It's a K2 pivot strategy. I put scalping strategy on the 10-minute time frame. So it's really easy. You're just going to identify trend, K2 pivots. And I can do this really quick because I do this every single day. Identify retracement, identify rejection of K2 pivots area, and then lastly, identify valid K2 signal. And then after that, you enter on the open following candle. And then lastly, stop loss at previous swing or pivot 3-4. So it's extremely simple, guys. This is the strategy right here that I just went over with Lynn. And I'll just show you an example right here because we have one perfect right here. So basically, you want to identify the trend. So in order to identify the trend, if price is below the pivots are all angling down and they're spread out like they are right here. If I zoom in, you can see they're all angling downwards and they're spread out. And price is below, that's going to confirm that price is in a downtrend. So right here, it's in a downtrend. Second, you identify a retracement. Price comes down from here, it retraces from this point and shoots on up, right? Third requirement, identify rejection of the K2 pivots area. Sorry, misspelled that. Off the K2 pivots area. So you can see requirement 1, trend is price is trending down. Requirement 2, you see a retracement from this point because price comes down. It retraces from this point right here up to here. Requirement number 3, identify the rejection. So there's a rejection off this point off the K2 pivots area because you can see price comes right back down. Lastly, identify a valid K2 signal. This is a valid sell signal. You can enter on the open of the following candle. You enter a short position right here. You can place your stop loss at the previous swing, or you can place it at the pivot 3 or 4 right here. It's really up to you. It's personal preference. Depending on how you're scalping, you know, if you want to go for a bigger move, you can go for a bigger move for about 1,500 pips right here. And then once that's set up, you just let it run. And there you go, full TP. I mean, this is a little bit of a bigger scalp, but it still would have played out. And then there's another way that I scalp as well. So what I do is I'll have this big position, and then every time price comes up to the pivots, I enter another sell position. So I can enter one sell there, and I just lock in 300 to 500 pips each time it comes up and rejects off this pivot, because for the full move, we want it to hit full TP, right? So on top of that, I stack these little trades to keep adding on my win. So right here, I make 300, 500 pips. So in this situation, if price was to reverse on me, I would have minimized my loss because I would have locked in some profits as price was rejecting off these pivots. So that's one way of applying it. But, you know, like I mentioned, if you guys have access to the K2 strategies, then you guys have access to one-on-one mentorship with me. But just a reminder, after next year, if you guys sign up next year, after this year ends, the one-on-one mentorships aren't going to be unlimited anymore. Right now, it's unlimited because I have time to help you guys out on a one-on-one level. But as you guys can see, K2 is growing every single day, guys. So as K2 continues to grow, there's only one of me. So I can't help every single person, you know, with one-on-one mentoring sessions all the time. But right now, I still have time, so I can help you guys out on a one-on-one level. So if you guys want to learn from me one-on-one, you know, just sign up to the K2 strategies. It's only $50, guys. Like if you go to the K2 website, we still have the trial going on. So for $50, you have access to me 100%. You'll have access to my indicators. You'll have access to the strategies. You'll have access to everything. But just a reminder, if you don't sign up to this by the end of this year, this is probably going to disappear, because I just, I don't want to dilute the value that comes with a one-on-one mentorship. And I want to make sure that whoever signs up now will be a profitable trader by next year. So that's the goal. You know, I want to create you guys into profitable traders, if you guys haven't been able to be profitable lately, because everyone else who's joined K2 has been super profitable, and it's possible for you guys. So if someone else has done it, you guys can do it just as well. Let me go back over here to these questions and let's see what else is going on. So I'm still looking at US 30. Still no entry there. The 4-hour candle is going to close in about an hour. So within that time, I'm going to go down the Forex pairs and scan for any new entries. US 30 is running, TradingView is running pretty slow today, guys. So every time I try to load it up, it just freezes up on me. So I'll just refresh that. I will refresh this as well. We just want to be prepared for when this drop happens, because this drop can happen at literally any point in time. Like we can be looking away from the screen and then all of a sudden we have a sell signal, because that's happened to us a couple times where we're like, damn, we almost missed a trade because I wasn't watching it. Let me keep going down over here. All right, so we have another question over here from Denver. Denver is asking, sorry, I missed a whole bunch of stuff right. So Denver said, where do you have US 30 going if it gives you a sell? So Denver, if we get a sell right here, the sweet spot for movement during US 30, like during the New York session, is about 1,500 pips. So when we get a sell signal, like I mentioned before, we have waves. So like one wave will push up this way, and this wave has already pushed up. Let's see how many pips. 1,500 pips, right? That's what I just said earlier. That's the sweet spot. So it's pushed up 1,500 pips this way. If we do get a sell, our sweet spot for here is going to be 1,500 pips as well. So right here, if we get a sell entry at any point right here, the sweet spot is going to be about 1,500 pips, Denver. So basically, if we get a sell signal, it's probably going to happen somewhere down here. We'll take this, and then we pretty much write it down from there. So we might have to hold it into the next session. However, if you guys are familiar with how US 30 moves around lunchtime, you see these huge spikes in price. So it might move a little slow, and then once it hits about 12 p.m. my time, you'll see like a huge spike in that direction. So if it spikes in that direction, I'll probably move my stop loss at TP1 like I was discussing earlier, and then I'll guarantee profits so that if it ends up swinging back up, I can lock in at least 750 pips at that point. Because just looking back at your theory that we were talking about earlier, Denver, we're talking about the corridor theory, right? Even if it breaks this structure, it would have to go down to here, but it might still be too far to hit our full TP. But who knows? That could might as well just happen. There could be a random news event where COVID just has a huge outbreak. Not that I want it to happen, but if it does, it can easily affect the market. Sorry guys, this freaking energy drink keeps making me burp. It's getting like super gassy. Okay, so let me continue down here. Edward said, it's funny that you say that because I'm actually playing chess right with my girl. Nice, Ed. I want to learn how to play chess. I don't know if you guys seen that show, The Queen's Gambit, on Netflix, but I watched it like a couple weeks ago. And I don't know, chess just seems super interesting, but I just never really learned how to play it. Let me see what else we got here. Dominic said, I was wondering if you analyze on TradingView, which has a different price fee than FTMO. What do you watch out for when adjusting prices for FTMO? Yeah, Dominic. So basically, for example, so what I do is I watch the actual movement on TradingView, but when I make my entry, so like the other day when we take our trade, say for example we have a sell signal right here, right? Say we have a sell entry right here. What I'll do is I'll wait for that candle to close, and then I'll have my phone in my hand right here, and then I'll enter a market order. So when I enter that market order, I'm going to get a different price. So say right here, this price is 30,158. Generally, the difference between FTMO and the TradingView data is about like 80 to 120 pips. So if that's the case, I'm just going to put in, if I'm entering a sell, I'm going to put in 30, 158, and then I'm going to subtract 120. So then my entry is going to be 30,038. So right here, instead of putting this in there, I'm going to go to 30,038. And then obviously it's going to be way down here because of pricing difference. And then I'll just insert my parameters from there. So if it's like I'm going for a 500 pip move, I just type in 50 there. And it looks weird on the chart here, but the numbers are going to be proper on your FTMO. So that's why if you look at my signals here, I'm not sure if you've seen my US 30 signal. So basically when I call US 30, I have them set where, sorry, I'm trying to look for the entry that we called. Okay, so right here, whenever I call my US 30 trade, because I trade on FTMO, I call the normal entry right here, which would be for any other broker like IC Markets, Hugo's Way, Traders Way, etc. And then I have my FTMO parameters right here. So you can see the pricing difference from these two right here are just slightly different. So you can see the entry for the original one right here is about, let me just delete this. The original entry is about 30,038. And then if we subtract that by the FTMO parameters, it's going to be 30,023. So it's about 15 pip difference. So the pips are going to vary depending on the market conditions. If the market is super volatile, then the spread's going to be a lot tighter, right? If the market's moving slow, the spread's going to be a lot wider. So like right now, the spread's about 30 pips, 30 to 300 pips, depending on the difference between FTMO and TradingView. So if price is moving super fast, this is going to be like 0 to 1. But right now, price is moving super slow, so it's going to be about 3 or 4. So that's the difference, and that's how you would calculate it. I know it's a little confusing, but once you actually do it, you'll like after you do it like a couple times a week, you'll get used to it. It's not that difficult. So like you just get this number here, like 30,160, right? Check. All right, it's 30,160. You're just going to subtract that from the number. So 30,160. You're just going to subtract like 20 pips from it. So then your entry will be like 30,140. And it doesn't make a huge difference. But the way I would do it is I would enter a market order on my phone so that I get the actual entry number. And then once I have that entry number, I'll just go ahead and change the numbers on there. So like right here, it's like 160, say I enter a market order, and then it ends up being 140 instead. Not a huge difference, but then you can just put in your parameters in here for like 500 pips, and then you'll be able to calculate it from there. So your TP will be here, your stop loss will be here. You want to do a half TP, change that to 25, that'll be your TP2. So it's not a very difficult process, but it is confusing unless you're familiar with how to do it. So let me see. Chris said, sorry, Chris, CT, man. It's weird when I see your full name, CT. So CT said they're creating liquidity for larger share blocks. CT said market structure is meltdown. Yeah, lower low, lower high. I agree. So that's what I see happening right here too, CT. I see that we established a high right here. And I think now it's just going to keep going lower. So it's probably going to go lower right here, establish a new low at some point, maybe even closer, like right here. And then it'll push up again, maybe even lower than that actually. So it'll push up down here. It'll push back up, create a lower high, and then down and dump way down there. So that's kind of what I see happening right here. But that's what we were waiting for, guys. We're waiting for the sell signal. So you see these, it's already created a structure right here, guys. Here's the structure. It looks like it's going to come tumbling down soon. But like I mentioned, I'm not going to jump the gun. I'm going to wait for confirmation with the sell signal before we enter this, because last thing you want to do is enter a sell, and then it ends up spiking up to stop you out, and then it comes crashing down right after. So it's a game of patience, guys. A real game of patience. Okay, let me see what this goes on right here. Let me keep going. David said, I believe London won 6 straight before losing this morning. Yeah, same with our US 30 guys. Our US 30 won, I think, 6 or 7 straight wins before we had one loss yesterday. So if you guys have been following me on this live every single day, you guys should be well in profit. And that loss yesterday should have it shouldn't have really affected you that much, because it was such a small loss compared to our wins for the entire month so far. Denver said, does your K2 buy sell indicator work with 1 hour timeframes or only 10-minute? So Denver, the momentum indicator works on any time frame and for any asset. So let me just show you real quick here. So depending on what you're applying, so if you're applying US 30 on the 10-minute, you'll see the momentum lines right there. If you go on the 1 hour, you'll see them right there as well. They might be even clearer for you, because they go for bigger moves. Like this is a huge move from here, like 3,000 pips. And then, another move from here, another 2,000 pips, another move from here, about 2,000 pips. So obviously if you're applying them on the higher time frame, you're going to get smoother moves. Same situation if you go on the 4 hour, you'll get a lot of smoother moves from here as well. And it's not just for US 30, it works for all Forex pairs. Any Forex pair that you want to look at. If you want to trade gold, it works on gold. It works on silver. It works on platinum. It works on indices. It works on oil. It works on Bitcoin. It works on everything. So you can apply all the K2 strategies to basically any asset and any time frame that you wish to trade on. So it's strictly for US 30. It works for all Forex. It works for pretty much all assets. It works on stocks. If you want to trade stocks like Facebook, it works on stocks as well. It works on, literally anything and everything you want, because for any asset, as long as there's momentum in the market, you can trade it. So if there's volatility, you can trade momentum, because you're basically just catching the momentum swings and piggybacking their movement to, the next structure basically. But okay, so let me keep going down the questions over here. Oh, there's Sisuk. I just saw him join in on the chat. Yeah, like what David said, Denver. This is only one strategy that we apply for the New York Open. But if you go on the website, we have multiple strategies that are available. We have the intraday strategy, the momentum pullback strategy, the scalping strategy, the K2SR strategy, the pivot strategy, the US 30 strategy, etc. And then we have everything here pretty much lined up, depending on however you want to trade. What I always recommend, if you guys join K2, try out all the strategies, because they're all a little different. And once you find the one that you really like, then we can get on a one-on-one mentoring session and I can help you master that strategy. Or if you have your own strategy, I can help you make your strategy better using the K2 indicators, because the K2 indicators cover pretty much all corners of trading. We're able to identify the structure, we're able to identify the momentum, like determining the direction of price. We have the K2 SR if you want to identify other structure. We have the K2 pivots if you want to identify where price pivots from, and identifying the trend on the short on the specific time frame. And lastly, if you want to identify the trend on a larger scale, you can use the K2 trend meter down here, which will show you the trend on 4 different time frames. So right here I have it set to the intraday settings, which is a 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, and 4 hour, but you can set it to scalping settings down here, 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, or you can set it to swing trading settings over here for the daily, weekly, and monthly. So literally all the K2 indicators cover all corners of trading, guys. So if you guys have any problems within your strategies, you can use one of the indicators to help fix that. Because you guys got to remember, with trading, it's like solving a new puzzle every day. Even though there's an issue or some sort of question with a specific trade, there's always a solution to it. You just need to figure out what puzzle piece fits into that solution so that you can fix your strategy. And I can help you guys with that, definitely. C6 said, yeah, scalping is addictive. Let's see. Yeah, Denver. So the $50 package includes the one-on-one. You just have to you would just have to reach out to me, and then we can figure out, you know, what you want to work on. Because the one-on-one basically works as a Q&A session. Basically, you come to me with like any questions you have, and then I can answer anything that you have. It's basically like this, except we'll be talking with the dialogue. So you'll be talking to me, I'll be talking to you, instead of you typing, so that I can answer your questions a lot easier and more effectively. And Joe, sorry, I think I saw your question earlier about the US 30. So Joe, our trade did hit stop loss from yesterday. You know, obviously you can see from the market, it's been moving super weird, but unfortunately it did hit our stop loss yesterday. So it's fine because we hit one stop loss, but we had like, I think 6 or 7 wins prior to that. So it didn't really affect me all that much. I'm still in profit overall for the week and for the month. So I'm doing fine. And a majority of you guys should be too, as long as you're taking every single trade that we're calling here on the live session. Denver said, hey, Shawn, are you able to fit me into a one-on-one today when I buy the package? Hey, Denver, yes, sure. What time do you want to meet? Because I have a couple meetings today. You know, let me check. Ark, are you in this room? Ark, if you're in the live, let me check my schedule real quick. So yeah, let me see, Denver, if you want to meet today, we can meet today in the afternoon, because I have one session with Arik. Let me message Arik. I don't know if he's in here. He should be. I know he said he was scared of taking this trade today, but let me just confirm with Arik. But even if I have that session with Arik, just message him real quick. Here, my bad. Your message. Oh, there you go, Arik. So hey, Arik, are we still on for our session today? I think you wanted your session at 3 o'clock, right? 3 p.m. Abdullah said, so no trades today. So we're still looking for trades, Abdullah. You just have to be patient with the entries because the market's just moving slow right now. So we're still waiting for this US 30 entry. If we don't get this US 30 entry within the next hour, then we're going to skip US 30. However, we still have the whole Forex market to trade as well. So we might have entries if something appears. If it doesn't appear, then obviously no entry. We have one pending right here. So if this closes below this structure, we can take a short position right there. So there's one entry right there that may be possible. Odd JPY right here, it's just consolidating. It hasn't broken any structures, so no entry there. Odd NZD, it broke structure right here. Unfortunately, we didn't take this trade. We probably could have taken it, but I didn't see this over here at all. Yeah, so this right here, this could, I mean, this would have been a decent entry, but I didn't take it because of, you know, how the market was moving this morning. But here, I'll make a quick scan through the Forex pairs just to see if there's any entries coming. We do have the candle closing in about 40 minutes. So once this candle closes, we can take some trades. So maybe this right here as well. If CAD CHF closes below this structure right here, we can take a short position and ride this down to this next zone over here. And I could explain the strategy to you guys as well if I see anything, but I'll just show you guys anyways, because here's a reminder, guys. For me, I only use 2 strategies. Fuck, look, we missed this trade right here. This is my bad, guys. I forgot to call this at 6 a.m. this morning because I was on the live session with you guys. This would have been a good trade too. So this is one of the entries that I was going to call at 6, but it just looked like a risky trade. Unfortunately, we missed it, but it's okay. We'll move on to the next one. But I'll show you guys exactly how I apply this strategy. And just a reminder, if you go on the K2 website, I only apply 2 strategies, guys. I apply this K2SR strategy on the 4-hour. This is how I come up with all of the K2 premium signals. So all the signals that I send out that are Forex trades are using this one strategy. I use this all year. And this is how we pulled up, you know, pretty much all of our results for this year. So if you look at our results for this year so far, results. Yeah, so if you look at my results for this year so far, right here, for the whole year, all these Forex trades where we have like a 75% win rate are from using this one strategy. This is the only Forex strategy I've been using all year. And then for US 30, where we have about an 85% win rate over here for US 30, this is the only strategy that I apply. So if you guys want to manage, or you guys want to learn how to trade exactly how I do every single day, you just need to master this strategy and this strategy right here. And it's extremely easy, guys. I can show you guys one-on-one exactly how I do it. And then you guys can just keep practicing. And then it'll just become second nature to you guys. And then you guys can, apply it yourself. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking for right here, guys. When I go through these Forex pairs, I'm just looking for entries that satisfy this strategy right here. And you guys can see how fast I'm looking at these charts. It takes me like 1 second to see if there's an entry or not. If there's no entry, then we skip it. If there's an entry, then we take it. So right here, this is possibly another entry. It looks like the CHF is really strong, guys. So we might be taking those trades because the CHF is gaining in strength across the board. Look at all the highlighters that I put here. They're all CHF. Odd CHF is going down. CAD CHF is going down. GBP CHF is going down. These are all correlating pairs. All right, Ed, see you later. Ed's gonna just go cook. I need to go cook too, and I'm getting hungry. So hopefully we get this entry here for US 30 soon. So once we pass the 10 o'clock hour, I'll probably be getting off because I've been on this live stream for almost, I think, 3 or 4 hours now, which is it's fine, guys. I don't mind hopping on this webinar with you guys because I want to help you guys. So, I'm here to help you guys. I wish I could stay on this all day if I could, but I literally have to get on with my day as well. I can't just be on this computer 24/7. I mean, technically I can, but I got all these other questions to answer and these one-on-one sessions to handle as well. So I think that's about it, guys. So yeah, that looks like about it. These CHF pairs do look strong though. So we might take some of these trades if they end up closing. But like I mentioned, we still have 40 minutes left on this candle. So I'll come back and take a look later. But Abdullah, this is just an example that we have a couple trades possibly cooking up for the next candle close. Back at US 30, nothing there. Let me keep going over here. So let me see, Denver. So if you want to message me, just message me on Telegram. I do have an opening today. If you want to hop on a one-on-one session, we can hop on at, so my session with Arik is at 3 p.m. So anytime after 4 p.m., we can hop on a one-on-one session, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So Denver, just message me, or once you sign up, it'll probably be easier that way, because once you sign up, you'll have, oh, you already signed up actually. Hey Denver, it looks like you signed up for the signals only. So you might need to upgrade, which is fine. We could fix that. We can I could refund you. I could tell the support team to refund your signal purchase, and then you can get the proper strategies subscription in order to have the one-on-one. Because the thing is, the mentoring session is meant so I can teach you the K2 strategy. So if you don't have access to the K2 indicators, it kind of just wouldn't make sense for us to have the mentoring session, because I wouldn't be able to teach you any of these strategies over here, since you don't have access to the indicators. But I'll message you on, just message me on Telegram. Like once we get off this, we can set up a time today, and then we can hop on that one-on-one session. So we should be good on there. All right, so let me go back to the questions over here. And let me see what else we got. So we have a couple questions here. Flynn said, is EG on the move up? So let's pull up EG real quick. Looking at EG right here. We do have our zone set up already. So we do have EG right here. We do have a bullish bias right here. However, I wouldn't Yeah, I wouldn't. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone right now, guys. I have my phone right here because I'm getting a bunch of messages right now. So basically, right here for EG, it does have a bullish bias because we did have a previous buy signal right here. However, this this would have to close above this zone right here for us to take that long entry right here. And then we could probably ride this up to this next zone over here for about a 400 or 45 pip increase. But yeah, that's pretty much what I could see there for EG. Until price breaks above here, I wouldn't take a buy yet, because if it ends up reversing and we get a sell signal right here and it closes over here, then this will probably push down to this next zone from that point. So this is how I see EG right here. Either there's two scenarios that can play out, Flynn. EG can either close above here and continue back up to recover from this bullish movement and just push on further. However, it can also create a sell signal and break this structure right here. And if that happens, it can head down this direction. So I would wait for confirmation until price breaks upwards from this structure, or if we get a sell signal and it breaks below here, below this structure on this side. So depending on where price moves from where it currently is within this zone right here, that's how you can determine, which direction to trade it in. So it's technically neutral right now. I mean, obviously it has a bullish bias because the last signal was a buy, but until it breaks above here, it's going to be neutral for the most part. Let me message R. Ark, so yeah, I'll reach out to you, Ark, between 2 and 3. I'll try to get in that session with you a little earlier if possible. All right, cool. So I'll try to reach out to you around that time to try to get you in on that. So yeah, Flynn, this is pretty much what I see for EG over here. I'm pretty much just going to be, waiting for price to either break above it or break below it. Because the thing is, you don't want to enter this when it's just going sideways, because if you enter a sell position, price can easily spike up and stop you out. If you enter a buy position, price can easily spike down and stop you out as well. So that's what I see for EG right now. Let's see what else we got here. We got Sisu said, yeah, I thought I had it down after 2 years of trading, but Casey changed the game for me. Definitely. The Black Jerry said, you record all of your one-on-one sessions. Can I look at one or two? Yeah, they're all on the YouTube, Black Jerry. So you can go ahead and go on the YouTube channel. And all of my sessions are recorded on there. So if you want to go back and look, some of them are more detailed than others. Some of them are just me hanging out with some people, because some people want to have the sessions and we just hang out most of the time. But if you go here to the past live streams, just click on this, you'll see all of my past live streams right here. So all of the mentoring sessions will say mentoring session, all the live trading rooms will say live trading room, and the weekly chart analysis will be in blue and say weekly chart analysis on there. So Black Jerry, if you want to go on the YouTube channel, just click on any of the live streams here. I have a ton of them. If one is just me hanging out, then just move on to the next one, because some of them is literally just me hanging out with some people, because some people just want to catch up and talk about their strategies or talk about any specific basics that they're confused with. So if you don't find what you're looking for in this one, move on to the next one. If you don't find what you're looking for in that one, move on to the next one. But there's a whole bunch of previous sessions here for you to look at if you want to. So yeah, it's all openly public to you guys. So if you guys, I don't hide anything, guys. Like literally, you guys can see all of my sessions from start to finish. Josh said, crazy that US 30 is so accurate. It's touching and rejecting that last 5 candles. Yeah, exactly. So you guys saw that what we're looking for here, it's tested 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's tested it a ton of times. So we're still waiting for that sell signal to take that sell. However, if the entry doesn't appear within the next 30 minutes to an hour, then we're probably going to skip it, because the Asia session starts right here. And what generally happens is price will either continue. So this is what usually happens here. Price either rejects down here, and then once we enter Asia session, it can either continue back down or it'll reverse. So it becomes very risky to trade this during Asia session. Wow, look at that bullish move right there. So guys, I don't know if we're going to get an entry for US 30 today, just because of how the market's been moving. You know, you guys got to remember that sometimes the best trade is no trade at all. Because if you're just taking a risky trade because you're gambling, like say right here, you see it push above and you're still anticipating it to drop to here. So if you enter a sell position right here, you can get caught on a shoot back up, because in reality, it could still push up further to test the structure. So it can test the structure, stop you out before actually dropping. So you guys got to be patient. Don't enter a trade just because you have a gut feeling that it's going to go in that direction. You have to make sure that you only enter a trade if it satisfies your trading requirements. So you just got to make sure that you're taking smart trades and you're not just trading off emotion. Because I know a lot of people, even myself included, in the past, is you've been waiting for this trade for so long, you really want to enter the sell, and then you're like, fuck it, I'm just going to enter a sell. So you enter a sell, and then it ends up going down in your direction slightly, and then what happens? It spikes up to stop you out, and then immediately after, it drops all the way back down, and you're like, damn, I should have just waited. So just keep that in mind, guys. Don't force any trades, especially with how the market's moving today and this week. It's not a time to take unnecessary risk. You can ask any of the other members in K². We could kind of tell if the market's moving weird or not, because we know when the market's moving smooth and we know when the market's moving choppy. So let me continue down here real quick. Abdullah said, so in the Academy videos, do you explain how you enter trades and what parameters and factors? Yeah, Abdullah. So if you go on the website, everything is explained here. Once you sign up, go through the videos in order. It explains, all the trading view tools and functions I use. I go over them all in general, the basics of trend line support resistance, and then the real key to this are the strategies here. So if you have the strategies right here, you can learn pretty much anything and everything that I do here and everything that I'm going over in these live sessions. And then if you have access to the strategies, we can go on those one-on-one sessions where I can show you, in detail exactly how to apply these and show you some live demonstrations on how to apply them. So you pretty much get the whole package for that. And it's available to pretty much everyone. Yeah, so US 30 did break the structure, guys. It doesn't look like we're going to get an entry for US 30. It's going to have to push way up here, which I don't think is going to happen within 30 minutes or an hour from now. So looking at this right here, yeah, guys, I don't necessarily see, yeah, I don't see anything happening right here. Let me see if there's any other zones that might be. Let me just delete this stuff. We can draw bigger zones right here now. There's some CNBC news right now. It's the stocks making biggest moves right now. Okay, cool. So we got this right here. And the next zone is going to be way up here. All right, cool. So we go back on the 10-minute. Hide this. So yeah, I created these zones right here on the 1 hour. And you guys can see that price clearly broke the structure. So this price might go like way up here. However, if this candle doesn't close above it, we can still probably catch a sell if it comes down below. So I'm still hopeful for US 30, but like I mentioned, guys, I'm not going to force any trades. If we don't see anything good, I'm not going to take it. You guys can take it if you want, but I'm not going to take it because it's just too risky. David said we need a link. I want to show you something. Yeah, definitely, David. We'll talk about that a little later, or we could probably hop on a session later to meet you if you want. Let me see. Hey, Denver, I just saw your message. I'm gonna respond to you right now. Messaged. I'm responding to messages right now. Let me respond to this real quick. So yeah, guys, there's a ton of people that are signing up for one-on-one sessions with me right now. So if you just a reminder, guys, if you guys have access to the K2 indicators and the K2 strategies, you guys have access to one-on-one mentorships with me. So if you guys want to schedule that, make sure to schedule with me soon because this week is getting filled up. So so whenever you guys are ready, because I know there's a lot of people that are subscribed to the strategies but haven't done their one-on-one session with me. Academy. Oops, spelled that wrong. Sorry, Denver, I spelled that wrong. Yeah, K2. Yeah, Denver. So I'll just talk to you on here since you're already on here. So Denver signed up to the wrong subscription. There's two different subscriptions, guys, if you sign up to K2. So basically, Denver accidentally signed up to the signals only. So if you guys sign up to the signals only, you guys won't have access to the one-on-one mentorship because the thing is you need access to the indicators in order to learn the K2 strategy. So if you guys want access to the one-on-one, it would be this one right here. And the trial is down here as well. So let me just give Denver the link for that. All right, cool. So looking at US 30 right here, guys, it could still drop actually. So like that zone that I created earlier was on the 10-minute, but I created this zone on the 1 hour and it's technically still within the zone. And the 1 hour zone is obviously going to be stronger than the 10-minute zone. So if we do get a sell signal, we could probably still enter this trade. So let me keep looking down this list real quick. I have a ton of questions over here. Mama Underground said, still holding US 30. Oh, damn. So Mama Underground, if you were still holding that US 30 from yesterday, you would have hit profit. You would have been in deep profit right now. So for some people, they actually removed their stop loss yesterday. and they continued holding on to that trade. So Mama Underground, if you're still in that trade, I would move your stop loss and profit, because you're currently in profit 800 pips right now. We got stopped out of this trade last night. So we got stopped out over here during the London session. But if you removed your stop loss and you're still in the trade, you know, that's perfect, because you're currently like halfway, or more than halfway in profit. So what I would do, Mama Underground, is I would move your stop loss slightly below this current candle. So if price continues up, you have all the upside, but if it pulls back, you get stopped out in profit about 750 pips, which is TP1 anyways. So if you still have this trade active from yesterday, because I know some people remove their stop loss, if you still have it active, I recommend that you move your stop loss in profit to guarantee profits. You could either move it right here really close, or move it below the structure at 3146, so that you lock in profits and you guarantee that you lock in something and you eliminate your risk. Because that's the key in this game, guys. The key is risk management. It's all about eliminating risk and locking in profits. Let's see. Hey, Live Plus, how's it going? Didn't see you all day today. Black to Jerry said, can you learn the strategies just by doing the course? Does one need additional one-on-one training? Just want to know so I know when signing up. Thanks, man. Much appreciated. So Black to Jerry, for the strategies course, you can learn everything on here on your own. The one-on-one is only necessary if you need more help. So the thing is, you know, some people will apply strategies, and what happens is sometimes they'll start to hit some stop loss because, you know, they might be doing something wrong. Either risk management's off, they put the stop loss in the wrong place, they don't enter the strategy properly. And in that situation, the one-on-one becomes beneficial, because I can go on screen with you and can talk and have a dialogue, and I can tell you, you know, this is what's going wrong here. You know, this is what you need to fix so that you can have better results. So the one-on-one isn't necessary at all. There's a lot of people that never go on one-on-ones with me, and they just kill it. You know, they literally kill it. So if you look at Cheryl over here, let me see if I could find Cheryl. So Cheryl is one of the members in the group. I think you're in here too, Cheryl. I don't know if you're in the live, but if you look at the results over here, so these are all the results over here. Cheryl is right here. She has a ton of killer results. So this is her I'm a Pip Sniper. These are all of her results, and she's never had a one-on-one with me. She's just learned the strategies on her own, and she literally just kills it all the time. Look at her, like she has like more profits than me in some instances. And you can see our profits every single day, 5,000. See right here, another 1,500. She takes all these trades on her own. She learned strategy on her own. She applies it on her own. She had like literally no help from me, but she just picked it up right away, and she's literally killing it every single day. So that, you know, that just goes to show that you can learn everything on your own. You don't need my help necessarily, but if you do need it, I'm here to help you guys, regardless. So let's see what else we got here. Black DJ said, man, you just too organized. Yeah, I mean, I like to be organized so everything can be in order. Merspot said, is there a possibility US 30 reaches a new all-time high? You know, possibly. If it breaks the structure right here, then possibly, and probably. Let's see where the all-time high is. Yeah, it's actually getting there, Marissa. So this is actually the all-time high right here. So if it does reach that point, it can possibly break it right there. And it's not that far away, Marissa. It's only it's only like 700 to 800 pips away. Guys, to be honest, I don't know what's pushing US 30 up so high. This push up is like insane. Let me pull up CNBC real quick. Yeah, this thing is This thing is pushing up like crazy, but I don't really see anything that's really causing it to push up aside from, let's see, Stitch Fix, Raytheon. It looks like there's a lot of little things that keep getting spiked up, but I don't see anything specific that's really pushing US 30 up, but it's continuing to push up. The problem is that when it reaches the all-time high like this, it creates a bigger like possibility of it dropping. So I mean, we'll see how that plays out, Marcel. But me personally, I don't know if it'll break it. It might get near it, but I don't think it's gonna keep shooting up like crazy. Let's see what else we got here. I think we got a couple other questions here that I might have missed when I was scrolling down. I'm going down real quick just to see if I missed anything. I don't want to miss anyone's questions. Okay, so Abdullah said, what about Euro USD? So Abdullah, we're in Euro USD right now. Like I mentioned, we're like in some slight drawdown. But the thing with the USD pairs is that they're just going sideways. So they're going sideways right now, but the COVID news isn't good. So what I see is it's going to go sideways for a bit, but I see eventually it's going to shoot up because the US dollar is pretty much weak across the board because of the bad COVID news. You know, if the US goes back into lockdown, shutdown, etc., businesses are going to close down, businesses are not going to do so well. So if that happens, the US dollar is going to be weak. And on top of that, people are waiting for a stimulus. If we get stimulus, the US dollar is going to get weak as well because we're going to be printing money. So the value of the US dollar is going to go down and it's going to shoot price up. So that's what I see for Euro USD. We still have a lot of cushion right here and we're at this structure. So I think it's going to shoot up. The main key here is to just weather the storm. We're weathering the storm, whether it shoots up right here or whether it shoots up, you know, over here. Either way, it might not push up until next week or later this week, but eventually I think it's going to push up regardless. So let me keep looking over here and see if there's anything else. I just want to make sure I don't miss anyone's questions because we do have a bunch of questions that came up and I kind of missed a few of them. So we do have, let me pull up AU real quick for Mercibot. So Mercibot, same situation with AU right here. Like I mentioned for EU, it's going sideways, but with the bad COVID news coming, because the data from Thanksgiving and the holidays and Black Friday still hasn't been released yet. I think the COVID updates only come every 14 or so days. So it hasn't been 14 days since I think Thanksgiving yet or Black Friday. So once that's released, we're probably going to see this shoot on up to hit our full TP right here. So that's it for AU right there. David said GJ. So let me pull up GJ real quick. Looking at GJ over here, we do have, so if we do get a buy signal, say if I get a buy signal here and it closes above the zone, then I can anticipate a long position entry right here to appear for about 45 pips, right? However, we don't have a buy signal yet. So for GJ, we still have a sell bias. So either price breaks above and we get a buy signal and we take this buy, or price pulls down further and then we take a sell. So it just really depends. You know, obviously if the COVID news is bad, then the yen's going to get stronger. So if the yen gets stronger, it's going to come down. However, if the vaccine keeps rolling out and countries get better, then the yen's going to be weak and the pound's going to go up. So with the new UK vaccine right now, David, I think the pound will probably gain in strength. So with their vaccine coming out, I'm going to see this continuing up. So that's why I have a bullish bias on this. However, I probably don't see it happening until we get that buy signal. And even if we did get this push up, depending on where it closes, I might want to wait for it to close up here so we can catch that rocket way up there for about 120 pips, right? So we'll wait and see how this plays out. You know, otherwise, we'll just be getting in like way too early. So let me see if there's any other questions here. CT said, "What do you think of the NU with the dollar dropping?" Yeah, I agree. That's what I was looking at the other day. CT were kind of bullish for a while, right? So looking at NZD right here, USD, he was discussing how we might see this, possibly pushing up. So let me see this right here. We don't have any upper zones, or maybe we do, but I just don't have them drawn. So I'm going to go ahead and check the upper zones real quick. Go on the 8-hour. Go on the daily. All right, so the next zone is actually way up there. Yeah, so it's got a long way to go, CT, for NZD USD. So just looking at NZD USD right here, what I see happening is there's no zone here yet, but I think once price comes down, like a little further and then rejects off this point, it's going to create a zone right here. The problem with NU is that it's at a new area that hasn't been tested in the past. So like if you go back and look at the data for NU over here, NU is currently in a price point that hasn't been tested in a long time. So if I just take everything off right here, you can see that the last time NU was in this price zone was way back in, geez, look at this, bro. It hasn't been in this area since 2018. So it's been 2 years since NZD USD was in this area. So the problem with that is since it's been so long, there's really no zones that have been created, because the way that zones are created is that price has to go and touch this specific price point, like one of these tips, exactly on point. It can't be a pip off, it can't be a pip less. It has to be exactly at that same exact price point in order for a zone to be created. So until these zones have been created over here, it's going to be a rocky ride, because we won't really know where the rejection points are, right? Like we can guess, so of course, CT, we can guess where the zones are, right? We can say that there's a zone up here. We can say that there's a zone right here. However, for me, I like to be for sure. So I only want to identify zones if the KSR has identified it for us. So I do see that coming up, CT. Like, don't get me wrong, I see it coming up, especially because the next zone is way up here. So this is what we might see. We see a huge bullish move and spike up to here for a gain of 200 pips. So this might be something that I'd be willing to gamble. I'd be willing to take like a decent lot size and then just let it run up, right? Because we have all the upside. We can probably set a trade right here if we want to really mess it around and just pretty much let it run. So depending on how risky you want to be, you can literally just let it run. We can make that smaller, like 180. But actually, this is not that bad because we do have the structure right here. So even if it pulls down here, yeah, price will probably like reject off it. This is probably like no man's land right here. It reaches this point and then it just shoots all the way up, right? So there's a ton of scenarios that can play out for NU, but I do see it coming up, especially with the dollar just getting weaker and weaker. Lucky US 30, guys, it's gonna hit that all-time high, or it's gonna reach it. So guys, there's going to be no US 30 entry today, unfortunately. Sorry about that. We were waiting for like 4 hours, but there was no entry. You could have taken this buy entry if you wanted, but it doesn't fit our requirements, which is why we didn't take it. But if you guys were applying, say the pivot strategy, like we were just talking about earlier, you could have taken this and rode this all the way up. However, that wasn't the strategy that we were applying today. So that's why we didn't take that trade. But if you guys did take that trade, and props to you guys, because you guys really took a huge risk with that buy since it was reaching, new all-time highs. Well, I mean, it hasn't reached it yet, but it looks like it's gonna get to that point. So Marissa, I don't know if you're in a buy right now, or if you guys held the trade that I called yesterday. But you're probably like in some heavy profit right now. All right, so we got 8 minutes left on the clock, guys. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to look down the the Forex pairs, and I'm going to look for any entries because we have the candle closing pretty soon. So let me just go ahead and take a look. Nice. Sisuk said he scalped it with a pivot. So Sisuk made a killing off this if he scalped this right here with this pivot entry. You could have taken a buy right here. So this is one entry, the buy off that candle. You could have taken another entry when price came down and tested this pivot. So another entry there, tested it a second time right here. You could have entered a long position right there. And then it tested it a third time right here. You could have entered another position right there. So that's about 1, 2, 3, 4. That's like 4 scalp entries for 700 pips each. So 700 pips times 4. You could have locked in 2,800 pips this morning if you were scalping that. Jazz said, are you going to look for a sell US 30 later in the day? Me personally, no, Jazz, because I only trade the New York session. So once we enter Asia session, I'm not really going to mess with it because the volatility dies down dramatically. So once it reaches, Asia session right here, you're going to see this little snail movement. It might come down a little bit from this point, and then you're just going to see some snail movement. It's going to go sideways, and then it's going to go down, and then it's going to go up, and it's going to go sideways, and then it's going to go up. And then once you reach London over here, London entry or London open, so it's going to go sideways till then. And then as soon as it reaches London, it's going to go bam all the way down. And you guys have seen that happen. That's kind of what happened last night. So last night, that's exactly what happened. We held that trade for like nearly 24 hours. And then once London came, that thing just spiked like crazy down. So I'd be careful with it. I personally wouldn't trade it because it's just too risky and it doesn't really look like there's any, real direction yet. Because when it reaches this point, this is going to be a highly manipulated point. Once it reaches this area, I probably look at sentiment. If there's a lot of people in some sells, then I would take the buy. If there's a lot of people in some buys, I would take the sell. And if you guys aren't familiar with sentiment, you guys can look it up on, so IG sentiment US 30. You could just Google IG sentiment US 30. And then, so once you Google that, you'll have the IG sentiment right here. And then it'll tell you where the majority of people are. So if we pull that up, you will see that majority, and if this internet would load. Okay, so you'll see the majority of people are short, right? And that's why that's why price keeps getting pushed up. Because 70% of people are waiting for that dump, right? But you got to keep in mind that there's a bunch of people who entered the sell right here, right? Because they were like, oh, this is as high as it's going to get. So their stop losses are probably right here. They probably got stopped out already. Or even if their stop losses are like right here, I think this is what's going to happen, guys. They're going to spike price up. They're going to pull people, and then people are going to get stopped out, right? Then they're going to pull price a little bit down. And then what happens right here? People are going to enter another sell stop right here, because this is how everyone trades. They find where these structures are, and then they try to do this again. So what happens here? They enter another sell once price gets to this point. What happens when price gets to this point? It stops them out again. And then from there, it just comes crashing down, right? So, it becomes a psychological game where you kind of have to see what everyone else is doing. And you got to make sure that you're not doing what everyone else is doing, or you're going to get stopped out too. So that's why I wouldn't enter it, because it's just a risky time to trade, because there's so many people that are betting on it to drop. There's 69% of people in the market that are shorting right now. So what are the banks going to do? They're not going to let these people win. They're going to make them suffer a bit before they spike price down, because eventually it's going to have to come down, but they're going to stop these people out. People are going to enter another sell. They're going to stop those people out. People are going to enter some sells right here. And then, what's going to happen? It's going to establish another high. It's going to spike price up here to stop them out again. And then they'll be like, all right, this guy's done. And then they dump it all the way down. So that's why you guys got to be careful when you're trading something like this that's highly manipulated, because it's all news driven. And until there's like something that's actually pushing price, or like, you know, something that's backing price, then I would just stick away from it. All right, so we have 3 minutes left, guys. I'm gonna scan through the charts real quick, and then I'm going to see if there's any available for our Forex trades. Because I know a lot of you guys here are itching for some new Forex entries for today. So let's see, we have nothing there for OddCAD, OddCHF. So OddCHF, we would have had an entry if it closed below this zone. However, it doesn't look like it's gonna fully close below it. Look at OddJPY, nothing there. OddNZD, I wish this thing would load faster. So that was an entry that we missed. OddUSD, we're still in this trade currently. CAD-CHF, if this closes below, then we might have an entry there, but there's no guarantee it's going to close below that that zone. No entry there, no entry here, no entry here, no entry here, no entry here, no entry there, no entry here because it hasn't broken the structure. Here USD, it's finally pushing up a bit. I'm still negative 200. I've been negative 200 like this whole week because it just hasn't been moving at all. Volatility is very, very low right now, guys. Keep that in mind. No entry there. GBP CHF, nothing there. Yeah, actually, this was down here, so we thought there was going to be an entry. Doesn't look like it's going to close below there. GJ, nothing there. GN, nothing there. GU, nothing there. NZD CAD, there's nothing there. Hasn't broken the structure. We do have a buy signal, but in order for that to be a valid entry, price would have had to close below here, close back above, and provide the buy signal. But since it's in the middle of the open, there's just no entry for that specific pair. NZD JPY. So this might be an entry right here, but actually it is an entry. But I don't know if it's something that I would necessarily take just yet. Let me just gonna mark it up. I might come back to this. I'm gonna go and correlate the other JPY pairs to make sure that they're all moving in, you know, that direction before we decide to take something like that. CHF. So that's about it, guys. There's no entries that were really available. You guys saw me scan these live. CAD CHF, there's no entry there because price didn't break that structure. We're going to delete that. And like I mentioned from the beginning, guys, sometimes it's better for you to just sit out the market if there's no entries. There's nothing there either, because you never really know if price is going to go your way or if it's going to reverse on you. The last thing you want to do is get in on a bad trade. So looking at OddJP right, AJ right here, it's pretty much just going sideways. It's consolidating heavily. CAD JPY, it's not bullish. We're looking for a bullish move because we're thinking about taking a buy here for NJ. However, if we don't see a correlation with the JPY pairs being weak, then we probably wouldn't take this trade because it's just too risky and it can go in either direction if they're all, you know, going back and forth. CHF JPY, this is they're both safe haven currencies, so they're not as reliable. EJ right here, it is going sideways. GJ right here, it is also going sideways. NJ, doesn't look like we're going to take this trade, guys. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's any Forex trades available. Looks like it's been a pretty dead New York session, guys. So if you look at the movement right here from New York session, something like UJ has only moved less than 20 pips. It's moved like 15 to 17 pips, which is extremely slow. Because if you look at the previous US sessions over here, you can see the session opened right here at 6 o'clock. So from there up until here, it moves about like 30 to 50 pips. But today it's only moved about 15 pips. So you can see that volatility is extremely, extremely low right now. US 30 just looks like, I don't know how it's going to move. So yeah, guys, unfortunately, there's no Forex trades available right now. And it doesn't look like there's any US 30 entry either because it's already 10 o'clock. It's getting too late into the session. The thing is, I don't like to take trades too late into the session, because like I mentioned, when price goes from session to session, it usually ends up reversing. So right here, we have this head up this way. It might continue going up. And then once we get into Asia session over here, it can either continue up further, or we'll have a nasty spike down. Or it'll just go sideways actually, because the Asia session is pretty slow. It might spike down a bit, go sideways, and then once we enter London session, it'll either, you know, shoot upwards or shoot downwards. So it can either spike up like that, super crazy, or it can spike down as well. So this is why I don't enter US 30, you know, all this late. Let's see. Flynn said Cox. Yeah, when I hit that wrong thing there, it pulled up that one window. Ricardo said, Shawn, you need to hurry up and buy your own bank so you can manipulate the market in our favor. You know, that's the goal, Ricardo. You know, we're going to be some pump and dump Forex traders. Let's see. Yeah, Dominic said, not a very good idea moving stop loss. I agree, Dominic. And that's why I ate the loss earlier. So if I did remove my stop loss, yeah, sure, you'd be like super deep in profit, but it could have went the complete opposite direction. So I usually don't leave the stop loss off. It's just during the swap spread sometimes, but most of the time it's never recommended. So Mama Undergrounds is asking, move stop loss to 30, 46. You can actually move it right somewhere over here. Mama Underground, you can probably move it to 3170 actually, because this looks like a pretty good sweet spot where you won't get like kicked out of the trade, but it'll give you enough profits to be locked in. So I think this is a good point right here. And then as it continues to move up, you can slightly move it up even closer. But I think this would be a good sweet spot for you, which would be 301.70 if you want to you know, use that little positioning right there. Joe said, so when do people take the UK 100 signal? Do they post it in the chat now? Would like to learn about it. So Joe, we have separate London chat. So message Mark in the group. So on the premium, message Mark Bond, and he'll get you situated because he's the one that's running that channel. So if you want to join the channel, just message him. He'll give you the rundown of what are the rules for that room. And they're not very difficult. The main rule is just not to complain to me, because like I mentioned, that strategy is not something I created. It's a spin-off off this strategy. So what Mark just wants to clarify to everyone is that it's not an official strategy. It does work, but it's something that was member created. You know, Mark started using it because he thought it worked well, and it has been working well for everyone. So if you want to join that chat, just message Mark, and then he'll give you the details and he'll invite you to the group. See what else we got here. Ash said GJ spiking, and I'm in a buy right now. So yeah, Ash is in a buy for GJ. Let me pull up GJ real quick. Yeah, it did spike up and down, but I do think it's gonna have a bullish move. So right now, if we get a buy signal, then I would anticipate it to continue on upwards from here. So it'd probably be a long position, continue from there, push it to that next zone before it either continues up further or until it you know, either rejects off this point. But I do think it has a bullish bias because of the UK vaccine. UK vaccine came out, so strength is going to go towards the pound as the vaccine gets distributed and as businesses start to open up over there. Yeah, HL said Dow will pull back for a bit from here. So I'm pulling up. Yeah, so I think it's going to pull back a bit. So Mama Underground, if you want to just close the trade and profit, you can, because you've locked in well over 1,000 pips already if you held the trade from yesterday. So you got really lucky. You know, props to you. I'm not jealous. I'm not mad. I'm glad that you made profit off it, because as long as the K2 members are making profit, you know, that's all that really matters. It doesn't matter if we're all making profit or if just one of us is making profit. If any of the members are making profit, you know, I'm cheering you on regardless. So, Mom, you might want to maybe close out your position in profit if you like, or just move your stop loss and profit even closer, because it might drop from here. There's a strong possibility that it might drop from here. But I won't be taking it because it's just too risky. Nice, no problem, Matt. Hey, David, nothing really happened, bro. We're just pretty much just hanging out for the moment. I just don't really see any entries at all. So I'm just gonna give you guys an update in the chat over here. Let's see. Oh yeah, we had another question here. So I forgot who asked the question. Someone asked if you sign up for the annual, will you have the one-on-one mentorship? Yeah, you do. So if you sign up for the year, you'll have the one-on-one mentorship. You know, for the duration of your subscription. So you probably have a better option if you do the year, because then you'll be able to have access to me for the entire year. And you know, we can pretty much track your progress from when you started K2 up until, you know, the next year, which will usually end up being super profitable if you do things properly. And if you're learning from me, from the person who actually created the strategy, you know, obviously you're going to get the best bang for your buck by doing that. But yeah, guys, so the market looks pretty dead so far. I'm probably going to get offline for a bit. I'll still be on the Telegram, but I'm just going to get offline temporarily because I have to go and answer all these questions. I have, you know, I have 18 Telegram messages right here. I have 6 text messages. I've got about 100 emails to go through. So we have a lot of new people joining K2, and people are scheduling their one-on-one session with me. So I'm going to get off for a bit, guys. If you guys want to hop on the next mentoring session, I have one more mentoring session at 2 or 3 p.m. So in about 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. So in about 4 or 5 hours, I'll be live again. So if you guys aren't already, make sure to subscribe to this channel so that once I go live, you guys will get an email saying, you know, hey, Shawn's online for a mentoring session. If you want to join, feel free to join. And you guys can sit in on my one-on-one mentoring session with Arik at about 2 or 3 p.m. I'm going to see what time I can get on with him. And then from there, you guys can learn from what I'm teaching him there one-on-one. If you guys want to have a little sample of, like, you know, what I do with our one-on-one sessions, feel free. Also, a reminder, if you guys haven't already liked this video, please just like it. It's not that difficult, guys. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. You guys know that there's a lot of other people out there that want to learn the same strategies that we're applying here. And if you guys got some value out of this, you know, to help to you know, increase the what's the word for it? The exposure for K2 to, you know, the rest of the community, for like a lot of people that do want to join. So if you guys want to hop in on the mentoring session, just make sure that you'll be looking out for the email at about 2 p.m. my time. And I'll be live with Arik. And then I have a couple other mentoring sessions later today as well. So throughout the day, I'll be live on and off answering questions. And if you guys want to sit in and see how it works, feel free. It's completely free. It'll be posted here on the YouTube. And then I'll probably catch you guys there. But if you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me on Telegram, and then I can answer your questions there. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys on the mentoring session in a few hours. So I'm gonna go take a little break, walk my dog, have some lunch,